Okay. It's now 5:02 PM. Let's begin the Hermosa Town Board meeting Tuesday, February 17th at 5 PM. Roll call, Kramer,
Here.
Ferguson,
Here.
Koontz. Here. Service.
Here.
Matheny.
Here.
There's no other attendees at this time. I'm sure there will be later, so let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. So I know we have a couple of things to adjust on the agenda right now. So we do have a couple things for town and FEMA updates. So for town updates, the 8th grade leadership group is going to and do a very short presentation for us. We have some FEMA updates, the BRIC grant. And then I'd also like to put those before legal.
Okay.
A chance to clear out after the presentations. Also, Public Works need to add item H to approve the water leak repair bill for Fifth and Manning. And I believe that is it. We'll amend the claims to add that when we get there. We approve.
The consent calendar, you wanna change, just make those pending now rather than both the minutes?
That we're not there yet. We're
Oh,
still on the agenda. So that's, I'll just make a motion to make those changes to the agenda.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay, do we have any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, so at this time, I'll entertain a motion to enter executive session. I believe it's for legal and for contract.
Okay,
I have something I'd like to say before it'll probably shorten your executive session. This is from my husband. I'd like to say a few words with no interruptions. That is his resignation. That is all of his cues that he has. And at this time, we both have decided it's the best thing for him to do because as a town board, we cannot decide what his job is going to be. You want to take $1,000 off, but yet it seems like he's going to be doing more. And I believe you're letting one individual that's a citizen that doesn't live right here in town every day micromanage some of the things that went on with the water readings. And all the time that Chuck was here, he had one bad water reading. And I just feel that him and I both feel that it's time for him to step down, and you guys are going to have to continue on without him. And that's his resignation and his keys.
Okay, well, thank you, Donna, for letting us know. So I guess at this time we can, I'll entertain a motion to enter executive session. I guess it's just for legal at this point. So,
Personnel update.
personnel update.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Legal and personnel update. So do I have a second to that?
are you making the motion?
Yeah. I guess
Okay.
so, yeah.
Then I'll second it.
Okay, Linda seconds. Do we have any discussion on that one? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, and we're entering executive.
You got it? Okay.
So, who wants to make the motion to exit out of executive session?
Wait until there's a few people in here.
Bird.
Hold on there.
Bird hole.
Oh, where's your jacket?
We can do that now. We've got some.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to exit executive session at, good question, what time it is? 5:58, yeah.
Okay, and makes a motion.
I'll second.
Seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Executive session has exited. Do we have any motions resulting from executive session? Eric?
I'll make a motion requesting a full set of water test samples from John Buckhard as soon as possible and to report 2025 Battle Creek well usage to the state.
Okay. Do we have a second for that?
Second.
Seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. For the consent calendar,
Can we do like a 5-minute recess?
I'm gonna do a 5-minute recess.
I think people are still filing in and I'm.
Alrighty, so let's just do a 8-minute recess.
I don't know that.
I am sure what the thing could do.
Did you sign anything?
That way. It really
Being scared.
Sorry. Well, I didn't mean to have that moment. That's not what I meant at all. So,
Sound that way, but he was.
but I was loud. Oh, okay.
I did bring some. Oh, really would like.
They have new ones, huh?
Yeah, this is Rocky Road ice cream and fire. It tastes like chocolate with a little bit of marshmallow. Yeah.
This is the new one, yeah.
Yeah, this is nice. I'm gonna put it over there. Oh, we got a bunch of youngins. Maybe a little not overcrowded. Right? That's what I was like, could you like them?
That's
There's
true.
nothing really bad.
Oh, wait, that's true for me.
Well, there's no normal.
Mhm.
I'll wait.
Probably I was just loud. I didn't mean to do that. I really didn't mean to be loud and obnoxious. Really, if I was then, I'd hate for you to see me when I really am. That would be a bad situation. Well, I know you've seen worse from me too, but I didn't mean it though. That bothers me if I'm putting forth something that I'm not meaning, you know what I mean? That's not good.
No. Oh, I agree.
Oh.
Opening and closing site plan.
So was it actually ever wet out there?
It's just really windy. Yeah.
I'm a stash bottle. My friend ours started on the beach.
I saw what you did. Think there isn't gonna be enough.
Oh, yeah.
Do all that.
Oh, no, I didn't get married. So,
What are we doing with the minutes?
further out of my way. Wait until next time. Spending them until next meeting. So when you come in, we're doing, they're still over the
Yeah.
loading.
Yeah. Yeah,
He said, we thought it would be best to hang, Chuck came up with I didn't have to hang those on the wall. That you say for hanging on the wall.
yeah.
But Lon says that we need more than just a nail or a screw to hold it.
Yeah, they're like 22 pounds. I heard that.
And he's going to put them in one stack with ones that are in good shape and the other stack will be ones that need help.
Yeah, that's kind of what was in there already. I mean, there's like 10 that need a lot of looking. There was 2 still, should have been 2, maybe 1 more that was still good to go, but
We didn't need them.
we didn't end up.
Got done a little early when I was there. All the other girls I didn't know, so had the electricity.
Yeah,
I don't know if you could ever have them add
on the highway, that would be nice.
I did not hear about it.
Yeah, and those are much further off the roadway too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terry? That's a favor. And call the electric company and see if bills go up and see if electrical outlets can be added to any of the light poles that don't have it now. Because we have enough of those snowflakes. If it didn't cost too much money, it'd be kind of fun to see to do that. And you know, Black Hills Recovery might be able to donate some money for that too. If it costs, you know, yeah.
We do have enough, brackets. We had 24 brackets total, 27 snowflakes total. Well, we got 27 snowflakes total and 24.
And we'll use.
Last time I think everybody was on.
So we got 7 brackets left. We should be, I think there's only like 4 or 5 poles on the highway. Is there more than that? So we hit, but they are, the universal system of brackets.
Well,
Should be able to get more.
See how it may cost too much to get.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll be-
Graham, the other Graham. But no test.
Or kind of little solar and batteries and stuff.
Really? That's bigger. And let's see how many, depending on how many we have and how many poles are up there, like they may be on the left pole, like down on this.
Even these, I think, we should get a set of, sensor nodes that plug in lines, so they only turn on once it was dark.
Yeah, gotcha.
This is just.
Okay, you guys ready to start? Okay, let's reconvene. It is now 6:06. So, for the consent calendar, I'd like to make a motion to table the minutes till next meeting, so, I can review them in more depth.
I'll make that motion.
I made the motion to table.
I'll second that motion.
Seconds, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye, motion carries. Conflict of interest declaration, excuse me. Roll call voting for any agenda item that may have a conflict of interest, so we'll use that going forwards. So we shifted the agenda around a little bit before the executive session, and so we're going to now go to the town updates. I believe we have a presentation from the 8th grade leadership group. Like to come up and present, please.
So we have these pamphlets for you guys. Give you a look over for our presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's your name, young man?
Benjamin.
Benjamin? Thank you, Benjamin.
Hi, my name is Oren Kuntz.
And I'm Benjamin Luxo.
We're representing the eighth grade leadership class at Hermosa School.
We are here today to share some exciting news. On Sunday, May 3rd, our class is hosting the inaugural Eye to Pride 5K Fun Run.
This isn't just a race, it's a community fundraiser. All the money raised will go to our new college scholarship for a high school cluster senior who is a former Hermosa student.
We want to help a student who started in the Eye with us and is now graduating with pride. To win the scholarship, they have to write an essay about what it meant for them to grow up in this rural community.
The race will start at 1 p.m. at the school. We wanted to let the board know that we have already taken care of some safety logistics.
We're coordinating with the Custer County Sheriff and the Valkyrie Fire Department, who will be providing traffic control for the runners crossing the border.
We will also be placing temporary caution, runners ahead signs, and directional markers along the route to keep everyone safe. We will make sure all those signs are taken down immediately after the race is over.
Finally, we want to invite all of you to join us. We would love to see some town board members either like sign up to run or just come on to cheer on your participants.
Thank you for your time and for supporting the Hermosa School.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Well, thank you very much for that, guys. Does the board have any questions for them or?
A lot of times a fun run can have dogs on leashes. Is that been discussed?
Yes, we agreed we would allow that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, great. All right, well, thank you. Very good.
CPR at the end of the race.
I do want to say, I am super excited about this because I've been wanting to have something like this in Hermosa for a while, so I'm so glad you're doing it. And the benefit of it too. It's wonderful.
All righty. Yeah, well, thanks for coming in and thanks for letting us know. And that will go out on the recording to the whole town and everyone on the internet. So,
If you weren't aware, you are on camera.
okay, well, moving right along, let's go to the FEMA updates. And I believe Anthony has some things for us on that.
Yeah, we have to give him a minute. Give me a little bit.
Can I say something, Kel?
Sure.
Kids, you can leave if you like. You don't have to just sit here because you're here. And the meetings do get kind of long, so I just wanted you to know that if you got homework to do, you probably ought to go home. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you on May 3rd.
Yeah, thanks, Linda.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, so Dan thought 6:30 was gonna be when he was ready for his presentation, but
Mm.
what else we got?
So is he not ready right now?
He's just getting on his computer.
Okay. You know, is it gonna be like 3 minutes or so or?
Let's see. I guess you moved legal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, would you prefer that we go to legal and then we come back to the FEMA updates?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
I think so, 30 minutes.
That's good.
Okay,
That's,
I want to let you know.
yeah.
Okay, well, let's,
Oh, all right.
let's go ahead and do that. Looks like we're a little bit ahead of schedule for once in our life, so. That's good, I guess.
Probably gonna get us behind here, but yeah.
I think we'll be right on track after your presentation, Scott, so.
There we go. Got it? Yeah.
Yes.
So Aaron, are you gonna be my clicker then? Sure thing, I will, click away. Okay.
Trina, did you turn the light on, please?
Okay, so I was asked to give a presentation. So did we have the pamphlets from the Attorney General, are those available to?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you want to get those pictures? Everybody's got one, because this is also going to count for our statutory duty to review the open meetings brochure annually. So we have to do that. And so they did give me the newest version of that for 2026, so you should have those. I got, this one says revised 2023. No.
It's not 2026.
Yeah. And I was given this in 2025. Ones I got from the AG were 2026. I'll let her start doing that. I'll start doing that.
All right, let's get it started, guys, while Riley helps us out with the materials there.
Sure. So, let's go to the first slide there. So, they start with kind of the basic definitions, but some of these things are important for when you're deciding what you're doing, or are you at a meeting or you're not at a meeting. So, first question is, what's the basic rule? And that's the first statute in the Open Meetings Code is, it's official means that any public body are supposed to be open to the public, unless there's a specific reason to close it, which is executive session or whatever, there's a legal reason to close it. So the presumption is, in the state of South Dakota, we want the public to be able to see what we're doing, to have open government, to be transparent. There are some things that governments have to do that can't be public all the time, but the goal is to try to minimize those things, and you have to have a statutory basis to not do it this way. So let's go to the next slide. So again, this is from a case about open meetings. It says it's prohibited actions to be taken at secret meetings where it's impossible for the interested public to become fully informed and to detect improper influence. So that's the reason we have an open meetings law. They go on to the next slide there. So is it an official meeting? So that term of official meeting is defined in the Open Meetings Act. But it says it's any meeting of a quorum of a public body at which official business or public policy of that public body is discussed or decided, whether in person or by means of teleconference or electronic means. So this sounds simple, but it actually has a lot of sort of variations that make it something you have to think about a little bit when you're doing it. So we're going to go through some of those, but one of the keys there is you have to have a quorum, obviously. So if two of you are at a project or something, you have a 5-person board. There's 3 of you, you got a problem, right? But if there's 2 of you, you're going to, do some other public event or whatever. You're discussing something, a public policy between the 2 of you. That's not necessarily a meeting or an official quorum or anything like that. But if it's 3 of you, then you got this problem. So go on to the next slide here. So again, the keys are, you have a quorum, and are you discussing public policy? So if 2 of you are going to the basketball game and you discuss, hey, what's the weather like? That's not a meeting. You didn't discuss public policy, right? But if 3 of you are there and you're saying, well, while we're here at the basketball game, let's talk about this sewer problem. Well, then you got an issue, because even though you didn't announce it or whatever, it's public policy you're discussing. So again, it's triggered when you have those 2 things. So go ahead to the next slide. And I should have made that one bigger because I can't read it. So this is an example. So this is sort of there's some pop quizzes here for you guys to answer. So first one is meeting for we're talking about a 7-person board, so not a 5-person board. It's scheduled to begin at 7 p.m. 4 members show up at 40 minutes early. They begin to talk about the local high school football team's recent game and how well they played. Is that okay or not?
Allowed.
Okay. That's allowed. That's right. Okay.
Example two, one member before 7 PM starts suggesting that the board could help pay for improvements to the bleachers with some funds available. What about that? No, so again, and that, I will tell you, you guys do an okay job of that, but every once in a while, I'm watching you guys. Some of you are here early, and there's a real tendency, we want to start talking about stuff, right? And that's where you get into trouble. If you want to start talking about stuff before everybody's here, before your meeting's supposed to start, you got to make sure you're resisting that temptation. Because then your temptation, your heart's in the right place. You think, I want to use my time efficiently, and we want to get things done, but you have to mind this rule. You can't start early. You can't start discussing things that have public importance. So go ahead to the next slide. Okay, so regular meetings of the body count as official meetings, but what about lunches, sporting events, social events, email discussions? Okay, so some of these last topics here, it's really going to be where we learn something. So next one. So email discussions. So again, we're in the age of technology. So we could be talking through email. We could be talking through instant messaging, Instagram or whatever we're using this day. Social media. We could be talking on Facebook. We could be sending text messages to each other, having group texts, those kind of things, or any kind of virtual meeting platform like Zoom or whatever else. Any of those things are ways you could meet or ways you could discuss things. And so because of that, all of those electronic communications are also covered by the Open Meetings Act, right? So it's not just physical meetings we're talking about. We're talking about anytime you're discussing public policy, as long as there's 3 of you involved and you're doing one of these things, it still counts, right? So if there's a group text, if Kel decides to group text everybody, hey, let's talk about this. I know you're not going to, but if you group text 3 people and then people respond to you about, that, you got a problem, right? So that's why whenever I send something and it goes like, I've done this, I don't do this too much, but if I send a message to all of the board, like in a sort of a group thing, I usually say, do not reply all to this message, right? Because if you guys do a reply all, now you're all discussing something, right? So you got to be careful not to do that. That's kind of something. It's real natural, because you use email the rest of your life and you just hit reply all. It's no big deal. But in this context, you got to really resist the temptation to hit reply all. You can't do it. So I'm going to go on to the next thing. Okay, so email text violations. These are examples of things you could do in an email situation or text, where you're violating this rule. So one of them's called the reply all chain, right? Which is the one I just went over. So again, a majority of the board, at least 3 of you, are all having email discussions. Somebody sends something out, and then I think we should approve the new zoning proposal that would increase revenue. And then council member B says, I agree with A. Proposal looks good. We should limit it to 10 feet or whatever. 3 replies to everybody. Yeah, we should do this. Da da da. Again, 3 of them have discussed a public policy and without a public meeting notice or anything like that. So that's going to be a violation, right? So let's go to the next one. So again, this is a different type of email violations, and this is what you don't think of as much, but you're sort of going to accomplish the same thing, but not through reply all. You're going to accomplish it by doing a chain email. So essentially, you're going to say, so member A is going to say, hey, I'm not sure about this budget proposal. I think we should cut the education funding. They send that to member B. Member B then sends it to C. Says, I just spoke with A. They don't want to do this. And then member C sends it to D. Hey, B and A want to do this. We should probably do that too. So again, you didn't have an email where all 4 participated, but you effectively discussed the topic with the quorum, even though you didn't have a single meeting. So that's considered a violation, right? It's a different way to violate it, but it's a violation too. So go to the next one. So this is a different scenario called a draft document chain. So anyway, somebody puts a document on a shared document site like Google Docs or Dropbox or one of those things, and then people are commenting on the draft before the meeting. They're putting comments on the draft. They're going back and forth. It's just another way that you're discussing public policy, but you're not having an official meeting about it, so you're in violation, right? That one's a little different. Does that make sense? What I'm saying there? No, it's kind of, Linda, you're not high on the technology sometimes. Does that make sense?
I won't ever need that.
Okay.
So
You'll
I'm not listening right now. Sorry.
You'll be safe on that one.
Yeah, I'm totally safe on that.
All right, let's go to the next one. So this is a fourth way. Again, this is social media. So again, somebody puts a plan to vote against a project on Twitter or X or something, or maybe on Facebook. Another member then retweets it or reposts it on the same social media sites, tagging other members. A third member responds saying, "Hey, I don't think it's a good idea, whatever." So it wasn't secret because it's out in the open. I mean, you're not concealing it from the public, but the problem is it's not noticed, right? It's any meeting you have to notice the public. So you can't have a discussion about public policy unnoticed to a bunch of people on social media, right? So that's the problem there. So that's another way to kind of get into that hot water. So go ahead and hit that again.
I don't do that either.
Okay, so I did a lot of different technological ones there. So I just want to pause there. Did any board members have questions, any of those type of scenarios on the emails or social media or text messaging? Because again, those are the ones these days that tend to get people into trouble. So is that, any questions on those? Yeah, Aaron.
One question maybe for later now.
Sure.
Anyway, I've heard maybe that there may be some pathways to be able to do this properly, to where you can communicate, like have a social, maybe not necessarily social media, but some sort of online communication system, but it is public and it's like you do your due diligence, make sure everybody's aware of it. I've heard that there may be some pathways for that.
So yeah, you can do like say Zoom or some other telecommunications. You can do a meeting that way. You have to again notify the public and you have to make a public channel available for them to participate.
Right.
So whether that's a website that they can all click and log in on, or whether that's a phone line they can call in on, something like that where they can still participate. So that came up a lot, of course, when during COVID, a lot of places were doing meetings like that. So there is, and I think we're actually going to have a little slide later on when we talk about how you do that. So
Okay.
yeah, but good question. Okay. Go ahead. Okay, I don't get to talk to that at the last slide. Can you go backwards one?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so all the exceptions are found in the code. So then the other exception you need to talk about there is on the right. This is a different exception. So if you're meeting with another body, so there's another public entity, you guys want to go to their meeting, or they want to come to your meeting or whatever, that does come up sometimes. You guys are going to go to a county commission meeting or meeting with Rapid City or whoever it is. So you have to again, the second body, whoever the body is hosting the event has to provide the notice. So, you can attend. I think it's better form if you give your own notice to your constituency, I don't know that the statute specifically requires you to do that, but I think it's probably just good transparency to beyond a shadow of a doubt, say, hey, we're letting you guys know we're going to be at this meeting on this date. We're going to be participating, discussing public policy, but that's the requirement anyways, is that one of the two bodies has to at least provide the notice. So, yeah.
Is that only if there's a possible quorum?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't have the quorum, you're missing the element of a public meeting, of official meeting, right? So two of you could go to a county commission meeting, it would not trigger that. Go ahead. Oh, sorry, Linda.
Well, did this happen last night?
We had a.
Did you have a quorum?
Yeah.
Oh, it was posted.
He was over there on that
Okay.
side of the room and we were.
Yeah.
We didn't really talk to each other.
Okay, it was posted though. I didn't know that okay, good. I'm glad she posted that. Good.
Good, okay, yeah, it's good that you noticed it.
Kind of
Okay,
for
so
this
there's the
one.
official pamphlets, just so, because we're being recorded, and so everybody knows that, yeah, that we are looking at.
Apologize, some of the pages
Attorney
were upside
General's
down.
official
I was a copier.
Okay. Thank you.
document. Okay, we can go to the next slide there, Aaron. Okay, so again, looking at the exceptions, second, there's two other exceptions in the statute. One of those attending a press conference called by a representative of the public body. So it's not one I don't think we're going to use very much, but if we had to call a press conference, you can attend without, necessarily doing the same notice requirements. Maybe you have an emergency or something.
I was gonna say, this is basically for an emergency, floods, fires, tornadoes, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. The third one is an event by a non-government entity where the public body does not control the agenda. So I don't know what that would be. I guess it's a little like yesterday's you're talking about.
That was a nonprofit.
Correct. So they're the nonprofit. They're not another body, but they're a non-government entity. And you didn't control the agenda. You got to post the notice, which we said we did. And so that's, time, date, whatever. So,
Okay.
so that we followed it, it sounds like, on
Mhm.
number 3 yesterday. Go ahead and go to the next one. So,
Can I bring up a question
Yeah.
real quick? What if it had been neglected to be posted? Because for any number of reasons, maybe the finance officer didn't know this was happening, and so she didn't post it. And so let's just say it wasn't posted and 4 of us showed up for that meeting. And we maybe discussed that and said, oh crap, there's 4 of us here and it's not posted. Should really 2 of us leave or,
You should leave, or you should not discuss public policy.
or just not discuss public policy?
Yeah.
So if we're sitting in different parts of the rooms and then,
I mean, none of the 4 discuss public policy.
right,
So probably better that 2 of you withdraw, so 2 of you can participate. But yeah, but yeah, if you, that would be the way to solve that problem. If you showed up and you're like, oh crap, we didn't notice this.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's the way to correct your issue. Yeah.
okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. So then the next one, this is one more exception, and this is unique to you guys, to this type of town board or your board of trustees for a third-class municipality, which is what you are.
Mhm.
So you can meet solely for the purpose of implementing previously adopted public policy or carrying out ministerial functions or undertaking factual investigations of conditions related to public safety. I think this is, an idea because obviously in a town of this size, we don't have the same staff and departments and those kind of things to take on these tasks. So this is an exception that I want you to be aware of. I don't want you to abuse. Right? Don't try to push the limits on this one. But if obviously you're able to do things that meet these tasks, and I think that is there for a reason. So yeah, go ahead.
I think I have an example of this
Sure.
from when we did the lagoon pumping.
I was thinking
We,
the
we
same
were,
thing.
we were coordinating through group text of who's gonna be here when, like, we had already had the meeting, we had said, all right, we're basically gonna do this, and we were just, all right, you get there, you get out there at your time, all right,
Yep.
we're all good, it's fueled up, everything, and we were just, it was already.
I think that's a good example that probably fits under this exception.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. Next slide. So we don't have a lot of committees in this board right now, but if we did, they have to follow the same rules, right? So this is just a rule that if you decided to form the Economic Development Committee or one of the other ones we talk about occasionally, they're still subject to the same open meetings rules. Is that if a quorum of that committee is meeting, then they also have to notice, they can't, violate the rules. So that is the rule on that, and this also says if it's not one of the above, so this means if it's a committee or task force, so it's something that's not created by one of those, by a rule, then it still has to be whatever that, so if there's like a informal advisory or something that you're not really forming by a resolution, a body, then the policy still has to be reported in an open meeting. And you can't take action until the next meeting is what it says. So
Again,
Yeah.
questions.
Okay.
So let's just say, as you said, some of the committees we've talked about is economic development.
Right.
And Aaron has graciously taken that on. But let's say that we want to make it a bigger group. And so we're gonna add one more board member and then maybe not a board member. Does that still apply then? It does still apply.
Yeah, if you created that board by a resolution of the town, then that makes it a public body under the statute. And so then that board then has to give the notice of the meeting to the public in the same way. And they have to wait until their meeting time, and they have to just, they can't discuss their public policies outside of that context.
Just like planning
And
and
that
zoning.
applies not only to the board meetings on that committee, but also the non-board members that you appointed. They become a public member of that
That's
board.
my point. Okay,
So,
all right.
okay,
Okay, good.
all right. Next one. Okay, is this an open meeting? Another quiz. So, 3 council members exchanged texts reacting to a citizen's complaint. no vote is taken. Is that an open meeting?
It should have been publicized, yeah.
You know, you can't do it, right? So that's a violation because you're discussing a public concern and there's three of you, so that's a problem. Okay, second one. A quorum attends, so three of you at least, attend a nonprofit luncheon where city issues are discussed informally.
That's okay.
It's not supposed to happen.
I'm gonna, yeah, so we've got a split of opinion. I'm gonna go with Trina on that one. So again, as long as I don't think it says that you guys are the ones discussing the issues. I think it just does that other people in the luncheon are discussing.
Okay.
So the fact that you happen to go to a lunch where people started talking about that stuff, again, if you're not the ones initiating or participating, you know, and you didn't know what was gonna be discussed, that's not probably a violation. So,
Okay.
okay, but the key is when you discuss the issues. Third one, a committee without statutory authority makes a final recommendation by email. So in other words, there's no, I guess it's been created by you guys, but it's not a state statutory authority. So, but they're making a recommendation by just email. So was that a violation?
No.
I'm gonna go yes. So.
Really?
So yeah, because again, they can't, if you remember that last statute we looked at, it said you can't make final recommendations for one of these public subcommittees
Final.
without going in front of the regular board, right? So,
The final got me
right,
there.
so that's something we don't have to deal with really right now, but it's just something to keep in mind. So go ahead, next one. Okay, so what does the public notice gotta look like? What kind of notice do you have to give to the public? So the first one is the notice has to contain the proposed agenda. Again, it's not the actual agenda, not what you actually end up discussing. It's the proposed agenda. Now it should be, you know, as similar as you can make it, but changes are allowed, but it has to be at least be the proposed one. It has to state the date and time and location of the meeting, right, on the notice. It has to be visible to the public, readable, uh, and in an accessible location. So I think we do that. I think we put it on this bulletin board here. We put it on the internet. So I think we're meeting that obligation. That's what it has to do. So we couldn't put it in a hallway in the basement or something where nobody would see it. Has to be there for at least 24 continuous hours preceding the meeting. So that's the time. And post at the principal office of the public body, which we do. And post it on a website if the website exists.
So that means if we have the website, then whether or not it's posted on the website, that has to be 24 hours before, no matter what, also.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So forgetting the website is just as bad as forgetting it out there.
Arguably, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think you're complying with the spirit of the rule probably if you're posting it everywhere else, but to comply fully, I think, it says that if you have a website for the town and that's a place then you need to provide that public notice there as well. So yeah, go ahead and go to the next slide. So these are some other types of meetings that we have sometimes, special or rescheduled meetings. Okay. So the notice requirements are the same to the extent that circumstances permit. What does that mean? So that's pretty vague. So again, if you're able to do it, you should do it, right? So if you guys know you're having a special meeting in a week, you got plenty of time to put out the notice, you should do it. If there's a tornado that's gonna hit in the town in, 20 minutes and, I don't know, we need to have a meeting about it tomorrow morning because the town got wiped out, probably you can slide by, right? Okay, and then, shouldn't joke about that because I used to work for a town that was wiped out by a tornado.
I know, I'm not.
Anyway, next one. Notice must be delivered by mail, email, or in person to news media who have requested notice. I don't think there's anybody that we have on a notice requirement here, but sometimes they have a right to do that. A media person could say, I want notice of all your meetings, and then we have to include them on a list. So that's a rule. So second one must comply with any other requirement state code. So any other special publication so that just means that there's a special type of notice requirement besides the open meetings, we have to comply with that as well. So just to give you an example, like when we did the TIF vote, right, that had special notice requirements, right? We had to go out further in time. We had to mail those notices to people who were in the proposed TIF. That's a special requirement that's not in the open meetings rules, but we still have to comply with it, right? So, yeah. On to the next one. So printed materials. So again, if we have printed materials, must be made available to the public when provided to members of the body or 24 hours in advance. So this is something I know that comes up in this board a lot. So like, hey, this wasn't in the agenda packet, so can we discuss it, right? That's kind of a question. Comes up a lot. So again, the rule is that when the printed material is made available to you guys, it has to be made available to the public. So for instance, I think I have a letter that I drafted for you guys today. So when that is ready to be discussed and when we're circulating it to everybody, we need to get it to everybody else out there at the same time because I didn't give you guys that 24 hours ahead of time. So that's just an example, but you can still look at it and you can still discuss it in your meeting. It's just that when you guys get it or when Terry circulates it to you, it has to be made available to the public too at that time. Again, ideally, you're doing it 24 hours if you can do it. But if you can't, for whatever reason, the latest you can do is when you guys get it in the public meeting. So,
So somebody in the audience, when we get something in here, they could say, hey, I'd like a copy.
right, that'd be their right. Because those become public documents at the point at which they're distributed in the meeting, right? So they have a right to it at that point. So if it's not posted on the website, at least one copy. So you don't have to have copies for if you got a meeting of 30, if 40 people show up here. We don't have to have 40 copies, but we have to have at least one copy available in the meeting room for people to look at.
That's good news.
Right. So that's the rule. So and if it's not posted, you could post on the website too. It's not required for exempt material. So again, that includes attorney-client materials or executive session materials. Again, if we circulate documents in executive session and we collect those at the end of that, those documents are not public documents just because they were in the meeting. Okay, so that's one exception to that rule. All right, go ahead and go to the next slide. All right, so public comment. Again, it's required. You have to allow public comment at every official meeting. It's limited to public wise discretion, time allowed for each topic, the total time allowed for public comment. It's not required for official meetings held for special purposes like swearings in or annual reports or executive sessions. So, or special meetings, those kind of things. So, but for your regular meetings, I mean, it's required to allow public comment. So, go ahead, next slide. It's public recording. Again, this doesn't come up a lot here. I'll give you guys a story about this one though. I think actually it's my story from. This is my story from my own experience here. So, so again, the public is allowed to record, audio record or video record your meeting. I mean, we know you guys record it yourselves, but if they wanted to maintain their own recording, they could do that, and they have a right to do that under the statute as long as it's reasonable, it's obvious, and it's not disruptive. So again, you can't record it secretly, but if it's in the open, they're doing it, and it's not disruptive. So again, this is my example. This is an example from a real event that happened to my public body when I used to be the county attorney in Kansas. So, so again, a local newspaper wanted to set up a camera at the beginning of the meeting and just let it run, and then at the end of the meeting, pick it up at the end of the meeting because they just said they didn't have time to sit through the meeting. What do you think? Is that allowed?
I would say so.
Anybody else? Different opinion?
I would just think that if they're not there,
Why do you say that?
he should be in complete control of his equipment. Right.
So here's the question. So what happens when you have an executive session?
Yeah.
I mean, so if you wanted us to go up there and stop this camera and start to figure it out, no, we're not doing that, right? So it became disruptive because it was like we cannot control his camera for him to stop the meeting when we're having an executive session. So again, to me, that violated that rule that it was disruptive. So again, anyway, so we passed the ordinance and said, you got to do it this way. So anyway, next one. Executive sessions. So we're talking about executive sessions now. So these are the purposes. Again, some of the purposes. There's a lot. It's okay. All right.
That's right.
Okay.
Not recording stuff.
So these are the reasons you can have an executive session, or some of them, most of them. You're discussing a public employee or a public officer for competence or qualifications. That is, again, when you're when you're talking about your employees of a town, you're sort of exercising you're wearing a little bit of different hat than you are when you're in your board capacity because you're sort of exercising the functions of an employer. Whereas you don't really want to bring this employee out and excoriate them in front of the whole town and talk about all their problems. Because you want to be able to have that management of the employee in a way that fosters their being a good employee and development and whatever. And probably people would be reluctant to be town employees if they thought every mistake they made or was discussed is going to be dragged in front of the whole town and they're going to have to talk about everything they ever do. So that's kind of why that's there. This is not obviously for you guys, but student discipline or eligibility for programs. So that's for school boards and stuff. So that's that one. Communications with an attorney, which, for me or whatever, reviewing communications related to a proposed pending litigation or contract matters. So obviously, if you are, you need people to get advice from your attorney in situations where you need to be able to ask questions in a way that's not necessarily, that you don't feel sort of exposed to ask the question. If there is, you need to be able to feel free to get candid and confidential advice in those situations. So that's why that's there. Preparing for conducting labor negotiations, so again, with employees or what have you. Marketing strategies of government-owned businesses. So I don't think we're in any business that I'm aware of, but if we were, selling, I don't know, hot dogs or something, I guess we could talk about how we're going to market them.
Liquor.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we could own our own liquor license and hire somebody if we wanted to.
You could
So
do
in
that.
this case, that would be legal
And you could say, hey, this is how we're going to undercut the corner pantry or whatever. We're gonna sell our prices, 20 cents lower than that. I guess you could have that discussion, right?
And by the way, I would say that as far as I know, we're not going to do that.
Right, right.
Just a hypothetical, yes.
Exactly.
Okay, information relating to the protection of public or private property and for any person on that property. So that one is as very specific. It probably relates to we've had a couple that come up a couple times. There are not too many, but usually there's things that can come up in that way. So let's go to the next slide. So again, there's other things besides those 6 that could come up. Again, if the federal or state constitution allows it, other grants of confidentiality, such as attorney-client, economic development information, or confidential medical or mental health information. That's another thing that is a reason that can be used. So that's also in there. Okay, go to the next one. So again, the proper procedure to call an executive session is there's a motion to enter into executive session. There's a second and a majority vote of those present to enter. I've actually seen this screwed up before, believe it or not. Littler town I used to be the county attorney for, they just would say like, okay, we're going to executive session. And then they would close the doors and then have their vote. Okay, we're voting on executive session now. And it's like, no, that's not the order. You do it in this order. So the public has to see. And again, you guys do it the right way. You have a right to debate that, right? So I mean, you have a motion, you have a second, and somebody could disagree and say, no, I don't think we should go in the executive, or they could say, I want to hear what the attorney thinks about it. Is this executive or whatever? You can still discuss it right before you vote. So again, the purpose and legal citation must be stated. So you got to state that reason for the legal for the open meetings, or sorry, the open meeting exception for the executive. You should say again what the legal basis is, and also sort of in general what the topic is. That's kind of what you're supposed to do. The second one is again, you cannot take any official action in executive, which is you cannot vote, but you can discuss, and then once you come out of it, then you can take a vote. Again, because again, business can't be conducted in secret. It's for the public to see what your action was, right? The last one, no discussions of any other matters other than those cited in the closure motion. So that's another one that kind of can get people into trouble sometimes, is that you're already an executive, you got some time to blow. Let's talk about this other thing while we're here, right? We got another 5 minutes in executive. Well, that's kind of one of the things I would say, don't do that. Because keep it to the reason that, because again, that could also create a perception of a secret meeting, because again, you're discussing something that wasn't talked about when you closed. So go on to the next thing. Teleconferences, I think this was the point you had earlier, Aaron, on this. So information exchange by audio, video, or electronic medium, including the internet, and a member is present at a teleconference. So again, you're allowed to conduct a meeting this way. I'm not saying that you need to, but I mean, if the need arises in the future for you to do it this way for some reason, member is present, even if the member answers present during roll call. So even if they're not physically present, so again, you can do a combination of meetings too, right? You can do a combination physical meeting and somebody's present by teleconference or whatever. And then the statute says they're present, as long as they answer present during the roll call, they don't have to be physically present. Votes can be taken by voice vote unless a member votes in the negative, then the vote has to proceed by roll call. So that's a little different. That's one weird rule that's kind of unique to these teleconference situations, is that you cannot just say, ayes and nays. You have to actually, if somebody votes no, you have to take a roll call, if anybody's by teleconference. It's sort of a weird statutory exception, but that's just one of those rules.
So in that case, we'd essentially be voting twice on the same motion because a no was heard and then the roll call would proceed.
Right.
Okay.
So you can say, what's the vote? And yeah, if you hear all ayes, okay, then there's no need for the roll call. But if you do hear a no, then say, okay, well, I got to move to roll call. Right. One of the next. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so we do have that capacity to do, and we have done it, to do remote attendance at the meetings. So even in those cases, if anybody dissents during one of those votes, then we have to, even though it's only one person who's remote, we have to turn that into a roll call vote.
I believe that's the way the statute reads. Yes.
Okay. So that means any, not just the one that's by phone. Any of them.
Everybody must be.
I think the idea when they passed that was this, that they weren't sure you could get an accurate sense of the ayes and nays if people are, elsewhere. I think so. I don't know if that's the idea or not, but
I mean, if I may too, if you have two people like on a conference call via the phone, you probably won't be able to hear their votes. If they vote at the same time, they'll kind of, garble each other out, so to speak. So that could be a good reason.
that must be the thinking too, yeah. Go ahead and go to the next slide. So again, teleconferences also have the same notice requirements, right? And this is kind of the rule I talked about before, earlier. You have to allow one or more places for the public to listen and participate in that proceeding. So and this is the rule, if less than a quorum of the members is present at the location for public participation, then you must provide the public an opportunity to listen via telephone or internet. So again, if there's 3 of you are here at the town office, then you don't have to do anything different with the public. They can show up here, they can participate or whatever. But if 3 of you are by teleconference, then the rule is you have to present an option online for the public to participate online.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's kind of an odd rule. That's not one that comes up a lot, but it's an easy one to forget. So, yeah, and so I think what's the second? Does not apply to executive or closed meetings. So yeah, that's
Because you cannot be a part of an executive session via tele. I mean, if
I think you can. You don't have to have public participation in your executive.
oh,
Right.
really?
So if you had a session that was all executive, for instance, then you wouldn't have to have necessarily the public option to participate, because as soon as you go into executive, they don't have a right to participate anyway. So I think that's the rule. But yeah, but it would have to be a meeting where it's either all executive or you have some statutory right to have a closed meeting, which is very rare. So yeah. Go ahead and go to the next one. Okay, some more quiz questions. So board enters executive session to discuss litigation strategy. While the meeting is closed in executive session, they begin discussing future zoning changes. What went wrong and what should have happened instead?
We should have closed the meeting at the end of the discussion on the litigation.
Yeah.
The zoning should have happened in open session.
Okay, let's say that the zoning conversation needs to happen in executive for some reason. What should they do instead?
Should have been posted.
But how could they do this different than that?
Well, they'd have to list that topic as being part of the executive session before they went into.
Okay, that's one way. The other way would be if you start to discuss that in the executive, say, well, we can't discuss this. You come out of executive
Right.
Then you would then announce again, we're gonna go back in executive for the second topic. And then you go back in executive for the second topic.
So you can daisy chain
You
executive
can't,
sessions.
but you have to announce the public what the reason is and why, and then come back out. But that's how you handle it.
So then, let's just say it's this group tonight.
Yeah.
And we say we're going into executive now. They all leave, we discuss one thing, we decide we need to discuss something else, we have to bring them back in, close one executive session, and tell them then what we're gonna discuss at the second one, and then go back in.
If it's a second topic,
So,
if it's
yeah.
a second, it's a new topic that you did not disclose at the beginning of that, then yes.
Yep, got it, okay.
Because again, the theory again is the public has the right to know what you're discussing in that second executive, right? So yeah, that's the theory.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, go on to the next one. Meeting minutes. So the city finance officer is responsible for keeping the record of the meeting minutes. There is, within 5 business days, she has to transmit them to the newspaper, official newspaper, so that they have those. So that's a part of the open meetings procedures, that if we keep minutes, we have to do that. And so as far as I know, we do a great job of doing that, because I always see the minutes in the paper. So that's the rule on that. Let's go on to the next one.
So it's,
Oh,
within 5 days of when the meeting was held, not when the minutes are approved?
it's the minutes being published. So, so it's not the meeting being held, it's the minutes being published. So again, we don't have minutes until Terry creates them, right? She's not creating them at the same meeting that you're having about it. So,
Right,
so the minutes are not published anywhere until she's created them and circulated them at a meeting. That's when they're published. So, yeah. So
But
then,
we wait another whole week to approve them, and
Right.
then, so she could wait 5 more days
Oh,
to
sure.
get them published. I mean, if something came up and she couldn't get it to the newspaper on that same week that we approved them, that would be fine. Because she could still.
say that again. I'm sorry, I'm not sure I followed you.
Sorry.
It's okay. We're not trying to get Terry in trouble here.
No, if something came up and she couldn't get the minutes to the newspaper the same week that we approved the minutes, but she still got it within the 5 days
Yeah,
of our approval, that's fine.
If you get 5 business days from the date that they're basically the date that they're published to the public, which means, when you're in your packet, whenever you do that. It's not 5 days from the meeting, it's 5 days from when they're done. So,
Okay.
because again, you can't publish things that aren't approved or done. Yeah.
We always have,
Okay.
just to let you know.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you don't, but every finance officer before you did.
And at the county, that's why we did it too.
Okay,
I would 5 days for the meeting.
okay.
All right.
Well, very
So
interesting,
the next
thank you.
one, so then this is what we're doing right now. So it says all public bodies are required to follow, this is a newer law, it came in effect, I think, 1 or 2 years ago, to review the annual open meetings laws pamphlet. And again, the explanation of the laws prepared by the Attorney General, any other material pertaining to open meetings provided by the Attorney General, report completion of the review and minutes of the public bodies. So again, our next minutes should reflect that we are going over this pamphlet, going over open meetings, and that we're complying with our annual review requirement. Okay, go on the next slide, please. So this is what happens if you have a violation of the open meetings rules, right? This is what happens. And so initially, any person in the public, doesn't even have to be a person that's a member of the community of Hermosa, it could be somebody from anywhere, can send a complaint to the state's attorney, which in this case would be Tracy Kelly from the state's attorney's office for Custer to review this. And it gives her 3 options. She can charge us with a class 2 misdemeanor, which, we'd have to answer in court, which would carry a potential of a $500 fine. Or she can dismiss it and send a no merits letter. Or she can, in that case, she used to send a copy to the AG. The third one is she can refer it to the Open Meetings Commission for further action. If she has a conflict of interest, for whatever reason, so again, and once somebody files a complaint against the county commission, probably, then she has to refer it out to another state's attorney to look at. So again, if somebody files a meeting complaint about the Custer County Commission, probably has to go to Fall River or Pennington or somebody to look at. Or to the AG if there's no other conflict option available. Okay, go on next slide. This is the Open Meetings Commission. It's the people that look at these complaints, if it's referred to them. And again, it consists of 5 state's attorneys or deputy state's attorneys who are appointed by the Attorney General. So it's just a group of people from across the state probably that meet together. They cannot meet unless there's a complaint for them to review. And then if there's a complaint for them to review, they can schedule a meeting. They only have jurisdiction over the only thing that commission can do is review complaints about the Open Meetings Commission. And again, they cannot investigate them. They have no authority to investigate the problem. They have to rely on whatever record that the state's attorney gives them. So that's what they have to do. Go on to the next slide. And they have to, I don't know, they do that little slide thing. Okay, so the state's attorney receives complaint, investigates. This is the process in general. Her complaint has to be notarized. Who cares? The state's attorney has to make the referral to the Open Meetings Commission. The public body can be given an opportunity to respond. So then they will give us notice of the complaint. We will issue our response to that. Again, they can have a hearing about it and have arguments about it. And then the commission will make a decision. There's a written decision issued and filed with the Attorney General. Okay, go ahead and go to the next slide. There's no right of appeal. So if the Open Meeting Commission finds that you violated, you can't say they're wrong, we're appealing you to the Supreme Court. That can't be done. There's no statutory mechanism for reconsideration. But if they find a violation, all they can do is they can issue a reprimand. So they can just issue a letter, saying, hey, we find this public body violated the act, don't do it again. This is what we found. They cannot impose fines on us or penalties. And it cannot go back to the state's attorney or attorney general for criminal prosecution. The final decision is a public record. So again, keep in mind that, if the state's attorney doesn't send it to the Open Meetings Commission, they decide to prosecute it, they can seek those penalties and fines. But if they don't do it this way, then it's the Open Meetings Commission can't do those things. Go ahead to the next slide. Okay, what gets public bodies in trouble per the AG office? So this was things that they had they gave me some material to review, and I kind of included some of these things in this presentation. So again, the things they bring up these are the things the AG's office in South Dakota sees the most complaints on. They see complaints on serial emails or texts that amount to official discussion of public business. That's why I spent quite a bit on that topic, because that is something that gets people in trouble. 2, failure to properly notice special or rescheduled meetings. So I think that's the one that gets people in trouble, because again, especially you got to follow the 24-hour notice. So if you have something you want to reschedule at the last minute and you don't meet the 24 hours, then that could get you into trouble. 3, discussing topics in executive session beyond the stated reason. So that's number 4, or number 3. Number 4 is taking a consensus or polling votes outside an open meeting. So in other words, kind of that thing example I gave you, like sending an email, hey, what do you guys think of this? How are you going to vote? That kind of thing. Last one, insufficient or vague agenda descriptions. So again, the public has a right to that agenda 24 hours in advance. And it can't be just like, we're going to talk about roads, it has to be a little more specific about what you're actually getting into. So let's say, we have a topic that's, we're going to close the road, next to the citizen's house. And our agenda just says roads. Well, then, that person's going to have a legitimate grievance that, hey, you're closing the road outside my house and all your agenda said was roads. So I didn't know what you were talking about, so I didn't show. So that's why it's important to your agenda to be at least descriptive enough to let people know that they need to show up. Okay, go on to the next topic. So again, that hot topic, adding agenda items without 24 hours public notice. So this is a topic that, again, has come up in this body a few times, and I've been asked this question too. And so, again, can agenda items be added after the agenda has been sent out to the public in less than 24 hours before the meeting begins, or at the start of the meeting? right? And so there's a specific case that the Open Meetings Commission looked at. It's called the Open Meetings Complaint versus the Yankton County Board of Commissioners. So go ahead and go to the next one. And again, this Yankton County Commission, they had an agenda. Item 11A, it says that, to approve a resolution about the mental illness board for Lincoln County. The agenda item had been noticed, but it had continued from that date. Beginning of the October 1 meeting, before final adoption of the agenda, the commission added agenda item 11A to the final agenda for the meeting. So they took action in that meeting on that item, even though it wasn't on the original agenda. So go ahead and go to the next. So the commission says they couldn't find any language based on the open meetings law that prevents a public body from taking action on an item that didn't receive 24 hours notice. So in other words, there's nothing in the Open Meetings Act that prohibits you doing that. But I think as I've told you guys too, but and this opinion says, public bodies are strongly encouraged to provide that notice despite that, and encouraged to only use that when it's a special or emergency situation that requires it. So again, try not to do that if you can help it. But again, it's not necessarily a violation. But I've got but hold on a minute here. Let's go to the next slide. This is a preview of coming attractions. So this is a law that's a bill sitting in the legislature right now. It's not law, it's not passed, but I've been shown a copy of it and it will affect this situation. So let's go to the next slide. So this is the draft of Bill 461, and it says that this is proposed agenda must list all items to be considered by a public body during any official action. Proposed items must detail the reason before the public in the official business. So in other words, they are added, language that's in the bold at the top of it's added, say it must list all items to be considered. So wow, arguably that language would change that Yankton Commission's ruling, and that would give us a different duty. I don't know. I can't tell you that bill's going to pass. It may pass with amendments or those kind of things, because I think that boards, probably municipalities, the lobbyists for the municipal organizations may say, look, we get these emergency situations we have to discuss. Sometimes you got to need some flexibility in this rule. You don't have any flexibility in this rule, maybe it won't look that way. But at least right now, here's the kicker to this. And you'll see this is kind of the most important part there. Under the draft 461, you see that language? Requested at the request of the Attorney General. So it means this bill is being sponsored by the Attorney General's office.
To make his work easier.
I guess, make your work hard. So yeah, so anyway, so that this bill is being presented by them. So it has a very strong lobby behind it already to be passed. So that's just so you know, so that's who is proposing. So go to the next one. That's it. That's a question.
So I have a question about that.
So, yeah.
When the state government passes laws, there's quite often different times when those laws go into effect. Some of them are July, some of them are January, some of them are beginning of the next month. Does that one state any time frame? Have you heard anything?
I didn't see any effective date on that.
Okay.
Usually the rule is that if there's no effective date on a statute, it becomes effective on July 1 following the session.
Okay.
So, if they don't put one, that's usually the default rule. Otherwise, again, that may be something that gets put into the law before they finish it too.
Okay.
But yeah, so just, we need to track that one, because that one could be important as we go. Any other questions?
This kind of pertains to tonight. So when it comes to executive session, like we're all filing in the door, trying to sign, get through the rain, or halfway across the parking lot. And whatever happened in the executive session was already said before we sat down. So we don't even know if anything came out of executive session or it didn't.
Well, and good question. We're kind of applying the language that I had here earlier to how this was conducted tonight. And so, if you had been here exactly at 5 o'clock, you would have seen the board in public on a recording say, we're going into executive session for these reasons. And so then again, they did that before they went into the closed session. And so if you want to, rewind or go back to the website afterwards or whatever, look for that will be there. So, and I'm gonna require them to do that, because that's what the, that's what the rule says. We do have that reason for tonight's executive in the record. And it's available to you and the public, for review, so. And if you've been here like right at the time, at 5, then you would have seen that too.
Going in, but I mean, when they come out as well.
So there's no requirement that they announce the purpose of the executive session, at the end of an executive session. If you announce it before you vote on it. So, now, again, once they're done with the executive session, if they have a matter they're going to actually take action on, then they have to announce that in the open session following the executive. But I think in this case, they did take a vote on something, and that was announced publicly, so.
So Connie, mind if I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And what we should have done then was taken our 5-minute break while you were filing in and then have voted on it so you could have heard it. Okay, I see what you're saying there.
Yeah.
I get that. You get that? Right. Okay. Yes.
I didn't quite catch the angle. She got it. I didn't get it. That's what, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So you still don't know,
No.
and you would like to know. Okay. As soon as we're done with this conversation.
Well, yeah, if there are no more questions about the meetings, you guys can inform her.
Okay. So we did have a motion out of executive session, which was to, actually, Aaron, you made the motion. Do you have the
Read it.
language on there?
Yeah. Motion requesting full set of water test samples from John Buckhart as soon as possible and report 2025 Battle Creek well usage to the state.
Okay, and that was the motion. So we need to also, I think we need to talk to Anthony about that too. Maybe we can bring that up. We don't have that specifically in engineer, but, because, I mean, John Burkhardt is your employee, right? And so the motion probably should have read direct ATAC to take the water samples, and then ATAC would have um, in the chain of command directed John to do that. I mean, I think that was the intent of the motion.
I mean, it was request, not direct, but yeah.
Okay,
And John Buckhart is the water operator.
Yeah, he's on here, but it wasn't his turn, it was Dan. It's not really all around. I thought him and I were like an engineer, but,
yeah, so
but I could bring, he's on.
we're gonna head to engineer right now, but we were just,
Oh,
what we were doing was we were answering Connie's question, which was what action did we take, if any, when we exited his executive session? So,
Well,
yes, sir.
yeah, we're done with this, but thank you, Scott, very much for this.
Yeah.
I really do.
Great.
Appreciate it. Learned a lot.
Mhm.
So,
So if you don't mind,
yes, sir.
I just wanted to, so John, you can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so the motion that came out of the executive session that was approved, right? That voted on, was for you to do a gamut of, sampling of all the approved sample sites. And I'm assuming that's for bacteria and chlorine. And then also, what was the thing on the Battle Creek?
Report the 2025 Battle Creek well usage to the state.
Oh, right, okay.
But also radio. We also want that test taken again too, correct?
Yeah, a full set.
Full
Set.
spectrum water sampling.
So, okay, so the radiological suite for the Battle Creek well as well? Okay. So I've got that list of samples, John. So bunch of sampling and then getting the readings from 2025 to the state. I was down at the Battle Creek well house, and so for November 24th, I don't know where that data is. I only have 2 months worth of data.
Okay. Well, I'll look and see if I can get that.
Okay, yeah, if you can, that'd be great. I mean, technically estimate as well, but it'd be better to have actual data because it's a totalizer. So like, I've got the total, but if I don't have the total from the end of 2024, I can't subtract the two. But yeah,
Okay.
all right. All right, John, okay, you got, you're good now. I'm gonna put Dan on. Dan, are you there?
Yeah, so right now we're gonna go onto the FEMA updates.
Yep, go ahead, Dan, you're up and, your first slide is on the big screen.
Okay, so I'm going to start off with a couple of definitions. We have applied for a jurisdictional determination, or we're in the process of applying for one. So I'm going to start with a couple of definitions. The first being WOTUS, which is Waters of the United States, and this is what sets the waters of the U.S. and the Clean Water Act's federal jurisdiction. CWA 404, that's the Clean Water Act, and basically that's the regulation of dredged or filled material into either wetlands or, in this case, it'll be tied into wetlands and floodplain. Not that straightforward side of things, but
Do you want,
I will show a slide.
so first of all, before maybe you want to give a little quick intro, Dan, who you are and why you're talking about this?
Sorry, I apologize. So I'm Daniel Fike. I'm a certified floodplain manager, environmental specialist, water resource engineer.
Yeah.
Modeling for the Cloma that the town received, I believe, 2 years ago. 2 years ago. So that's my background. My familiarity with.
Yeah, he cut out there for a second, but he said he was the one who conducted the Colmar on the lagoon for the lagoon project. I just let him know you cut out there for a second, Dan.
So there has been some sliding, so I apologize for that.
So you just tell me what you want me to advance the slide. What you see on the screen will be what's on the big screen.
Okay, so starting, we should just have the cover of the wetland to kind of give the image. We'll start off with some definitions. So the waters of the United States, basically it's currently the federal law is looking at changing this. So this is one of the avenues we're looking at, getting the Corps of Engineers to give us what's called a jurisdictional determination. And that basically will tell us some of the limits of what the federal government sees as wetlands and where we can dredge and fill certain parts of this project. Another term we use is delineation, which is just the identification and mapping of the wetlands in this case. If you want to proceed to the second slide, I'm just going to give a quick executive summary of what the jurisdictional determination is. There you go. So the JD, as I said, it confirms whether wetlands and streams are present, and this started off, I'll go on to slide 4 to kind of show where this all starts and stems from, but I can give you guys what this is federally.
You want me to go to slide 4? Just click down a couple slides. There's a map of Hermosa. There you go.
So at Roy's Drive-In, circa either 2010 or 2012, I saw a map of 2012 to 2014 that there used to be a very large pond there. So if you look at the map, the way the federal government look at it, the map on the right shows both the national wetlands inventory and then also the flood hazard layer. So my job will be kind of modeling some of that and working with Anthony to give a solution to both sides of this problem. But one of the things we wanted to avoid from the get-go is if you look at that map and see that Roy's, the federal government currently considers Roy's a wetland. So we want to make sure that we're working with the Corps from step 1 to basic. Willing to say it's not going to be inclusive. And so we hope that they can basically give us the geographic limits of what they currently see as a wetland versus what they would show as a wetland. And for this project, the key here is that it avoids an unauthorized dredge or fill, specifically to the floodway downstream, which then gets into the floodplain side of this. And so basically where we're at right now is that we are working with the regulatory office here to try to get the Corps of Engineers to come out and give us an actual geographic footprint of where we can and change things to help with some of the flooding impacts that are happening. I want to go to slide 6.
Slide 6. Benefits of pursuing a JV. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to fly through through this part here, but essentially this comes with what's called a Section 404 permit. And a lot of times they get this assumption that they can fill things, and then as the project begins, they begin filling it in, and suddenly they say there's no 404 permit, and they need to stopping the work completely, or having to pay fines, or having wetland mitigation credits. So we're trying from step one to clear the environmental permitting down before we start designing any sort of reduction in flood. If you want to go to the next slide, the typical process is we submit jurisdictional determination request. We'll do a desktop review with them. There's 3 parameters that they care about. Basically, the soils below the ground. Is there an ordinary high water mark, and then where the water flowed, I guess, under completely natural conditions, how they determine the existing, and then what is there today, so they kind of overlap what's there today and say, this is what you currently have, this is your site. After that, they give us what's called an HAD, and that tells us exactly where we are allowed to build and where we are not allowed to build from the environmental perspective. And leads out the blueprint for what's called the Section 404 permit, whether we need a nationwide permit or whether this permit will require an individual permit. And will help us with determining the project locations and what we can and cannot do for the hydraulics and some of the floodplain mitigation side of things. So I touched on a lot very quickly. There are other slides, but I think I'll cap it right there because it goes into just more technical detail.
So we'll try to, in the future, we'll try to have Dan up on the screen as well. He's the one doing all the floodplain work for the FEMA grant that we're doing. So I wanted you to hear his voice at least and see a little bit of the type of stuff that he does and get an idea how we'll be interacting with the local, with the federal agencies to go through the process. And there's always a step-by-step that's the most efficient, and then and we've learned that through experience. And so Dan and I have worked together for the last 3-4 years now since I was a kid. So I've seen him go through all these processes. He knows his stuff. So all right, sounds good, Dan.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Aaron, did you have a question?
I just have a quick question for Scott. So as an example, we're showing this on screen. Now we need to make this publicly available.
I mean, you're circulating it's not, so the open meeting statute says it says printed materials. So I mean, sometimes that can be broad depending on what word you use, but to me, when they use the word printed materials, I think you're talking about things that are in front of us here. So I don't think that would extend to slides on a PowerPoint. Again, I think when I did my open meetings thing, I told Terry, well, anybody who wants to see it, so I don't know that, I think just to be transparent and open government, I think it's a good policy that if you have it available to you to share, why not share it? But
Yeah, well, that's kind of.
I don't think the legal obligation extends unless it's printed.
All right. So Anthony, are you comfortable with us like moving forward, keeping presentations? Because we're working on like different web pages for different departments and everything, so we could have like a list of everything you kind of brought forward to us.
Yep.
You're good with us, like grabbing copies of things and.
Dan's cool with it. He said no problem. He made that for you guys, so we'll save that somewhere, or you can save it somewhere.
Yeah, I'll just throw it on the desktop and then find it at home somewhere. But
So are we planning on doing like a FEMA page for the brick grant and stuff like that? We can put all this under.
so we've got a petition 2 page, we've got an economic development page, we've got an attorney page. It's all departments that are kind of expanding and growing. And the lagoon page and just kind of slowly populating. But I mean, Department of the Engineer, sewer, water. I mean, we could.
Yeah, so we should definitely have one for the brick grant too. That's a big deal that we got that.
Big money.
Yes, sir.
Everything expensive to get its own.
There you go. That's a good litmus test there. That's good. Okay.
Good.
Yep. So I think we're done on the FEMA updates then. Is that correct? Dan, did you have a quick question?
Yeah, I did. For Anthony, that In your back research, there was never any paperwork that was ever filed on that area then before Roy's was put in?
Dan, are you still there? I don't think so. I don't think
Because
there was.
interstate
I'm still,
engineering,
Was there?
I didn't hear the question.
So the question was, did, in your research with the Corps and all that on Roy's, did you find any record of a permit?
We did not, and that is one of the reasons that we are asking the court to kind of verify exactly what they will tell us, because can you just show them slide 4 again? If you look at where, okay, sorry, if you look at where Roy's is at in the picture, you can see that what the federal government would call a wetland is directly where, the building is. And so we did not find any record of, placing in the fill, and it is of my understanding that the Corps will just come out and say, okay, this happened so long ago, and then they'll give us the new footprint of what they see. And that's kind of why we're working with them from the first step, is because we don't want to say that we did anything and then they trigger, what did you guys do when it was trying? And we say, well, we didn't technically do anything, but we didn't get your guys' jurisdictional approval first. And so we're kind of working with the court first to say, hey, this is what it is under today's conditions. And I think that they'll just kind of outline the area in between Royce and 79. And then the other big key here is that what's known as WOTUS is currently being charged, at a federal level, and I'm privy to actually speak on what this really goes into, but there's a lot of challenges to WOTUS of what actually is a jurisdictional water. And so once you have the court determine that, then you have a kind of a finite blueprint of this is what they would consider it. And, the thing is that they're usually very time consuming, but, we're starting this at step 1. So I guess over the 20 months, we should have, plenty of time to get this done and see that, that these are done correctly versus waiting, let's say 11 months and then making the call to actually get this taken care of. So we're going to be proactive.
Okay, Aaron, did you have
and see, what that area is, if there was a permit, if there isn't a permit, we would have zero say, but the court would be able to tell us what to do. And so that's kind of why we're pursuing this avenue. Does that answer it for you?
Yep.
well, and so is this all under the tip? That was my second part of.
No, this is under the brick grant. We're still in discussing the FEMA updates right now.
Thank you. That's where I wanted to know.
When we reapplied at VTech, we threw in that we would help navigate through these waters because you're dealing with the same agencies and we don't want one to become an obstacle to the other. And we want to start on a good foot, rebuilding that relationship. So.
Perfect.
Okay.
So, Dan, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So you actually have somebody in this room who used to fish, I believe, on that water body?
Yeah.
What, Connie, by your memory, when did that body disappear? The stock dam came apart?
I think that we're talking what I'm going to call it.
What's that?
Lake.
Right, 2010 by what I've been able to find, and 2011 they broke down. 2011 they broke ground on the driving, but that was still one big piece of property until 2019. But yeah, so it was 2010 I believe, but
So
I haven't been able to find anything either on far as permitting or anything on other than the DANR approving the installation of the system in the 100-year floodplain. That's all fully approved. But other than that, I couldn't find anything as far as the wetlands.
The local knowledge, Dan, is that they're thinking somewhere circa 2010. Yeah, that's collaborative.
That's what when we looked at historical imagery, we saw, I believe, 2010 to 2012 with construction. We had 2010, 12, and 14, and so we saw construction complete, 2014. But somewhere between 2010 and 2014 is what I will say is when it was filled in. That's based off historical imagery.
That would have been
the pond was still
2011.
there. 2010, but it looked like they were moving equipment in it. I don't have the exact date in 2010, but I'll say 2009 to 2014 appears to be when the construction occurred, and I don't have the exact dates, but it does seem correct.
I can send them, so I've got permitting and stuff from the county from that area. I can send him some information that'll help him.
Yeah, and I had Neil find out if it was a part of the town at that time, and it was not.
It was not, no.
So it was
2015 when it was annexed. Yeah.
Interesting.
Perfect. Is that good?
Yeah, I think so. I think we can move along to, yeah, thanks, Dan.
Thank you, everybody.
I mean, we had a couple of presentations. You all want to take like a quick 5 minute break before we resume?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and do a 5 minute recess.
Very interesting. Ooh. I hate it. So.
Well, you experienced
I experienced
the
it, yeah.
ramifications.
Exactly. So,
Hopefully never again.
oh, exactly.
Well, we're trying to get everything cleaned up.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was all county still, so anything that happened, that was completely not the town's problem.
Yeah.
I like the sound of it.
Yeah, it was somebody else's problem, somebody else's fault.
Well, we wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Comfortable for once. Yeah.
Well, I want her to come in.
Or at least one.
Yeah.
Or some.
Yeah, and I thought next week I said, oh, no, they're good. I thought like, that's the water stuff, that's kind of your wheelhouse. I don't think that's- if she's not- Always been thinking like- And that's why I wanted her and hopefully, you know, eventually, if I need to.
That's the other thing. It was seasonal.
So that's. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. So, you know, all of that. Like, you do look and go, what?
Hey, Terry, can I ask you a quick question? Sorry, did we get this on the agenda in time? It isn't on the, right? It's probably should be under legal, something we need to do.
So yeah, you gave this to me today. Didn't you?
I did, I just. So, again, she's here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go let her know.
Well, I mean, she can bring us her point in public comment. So discuss it. I don't think we can.
Oh, yeah, we didn't.
So, and I have some open questions in that letter. So there you go. We can still get answers to those questions after the next meeting.
So if she brings up a public comment.
Yeah.
She'll let her know that it's not on the
Yeah.
Krista, yeah, just want to let you know, so we did get a response back regarding the contract issues. With the attorney, but we got back late. So we get it on this agenda.
Did you ever go out on the way?
So I just remember.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 I remember.
Like, you got facts.
Oh, Shoemaker Dam.
Shoemaker Dan.
Shoemaker Dam.
No, I didn't know that.
We can discuss it. There's some open questions.
Sounds fun to me. I didn't even think it was that big that it could have such a big northern in it. But I guess if it had plenty to eat.
Yeah, she has her coffee back there.
Good.
Yeah, I just don't have.
Open meeting.
Shallow for.
I learned a few things from that presentation.
Yeah.
That's really good.
I remember the turtles. Turtles.
It's still cold.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mhm.
it's too easy to do, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I might even suggest that we do it biannually too, just to kind of keep it fresh in our mind, so we can meet in
Like I said, I think usually the public entity that does it from a purpose of doing something good, you know, they're always like, I'm just trying to be efficient, but then like, it gets them into trouble. It's like they're not trying to do something wrong, but it winds up that way.
Okay, well, it looks like everybody's ready to go, so let's go ahead and reconvene. So on to engineer A, we got the approved quote from Conifer Construction. This one here was are you seeing that one, Anthony?
Yep.
Okay, so replacing piping and valves and drop box, including draining, cleaning, and materials. It's for 1,600 plus tax.
There's no tax.
No tax.
So
So, and then it was written in here, plus 300 for a total of 1,900.
yeah, that's a,
1,800 now,
yeah,
right?
it'd be 1,800 because there's no tax. And it was, the extra money was for a plasma cutter, because we had to cut those valves out.
Oh, okay.
They were rusted solid, so, so this is to, so the Dropbox is the treatment system that came from Apple Springs. So it's, you know, it was running for.
You mind? I guess I'll make the motion to approve
Oh, yeah.
for $1,800.
Second.
And then we have a motion to discuss under, so I made the motion, Trina seconds. Okay.
So the Dropbox is the unit that got put in the ground that has the wheels in it. And so integrated into that, there's a valve chamber at the front and a valve chamber at the end, where it discharges to the, we'll call it the clear well, where the clean water is. And right there is also where we need to be able to connect the ultrafiltration system, which was never connected. And we were not expecting that backwash would be needed daily. But we've got a lot of algae growth in the lagoons, which is why our water quality is so good, because algae is doing a lot of the work. But daily, we need to backwash that ultrafiltration water back into Lagoon C. So we don't want to do it in the floor drain. And if anybody's visited the treatment plant, we were trying that, and, you know, big green, like slime, you know, inside. So that's one of the reasons. If you want to say, go ahead, John, if you want to say something, listen.
Yeah, no, we may even have the backwash multiple times a day, so we decided it's gonna be way more efficient to go out on the drains in the drop box as opposed to the floor drains. Yeah, that's what we originally were thinking it was gonna happen, so. I don't want the floor drains to become overwhelmed. There's a lot more algae in that, which might be beneficial in the future too, so.
Yeah, now we have plan to dewater that algae using a filter bag. And the Department of Energy would like us to send 100 kilograms a quarter for them to do research on biofuel precursors.
How much is 100 grams?
100 kilograms.
A kilogram.
220 pounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like a 7-gallon bucket a month.
Okay.
They'll pay for everything and all costs associated with that. Because that's algae and wastewater is something I've worked on for 7-8 years. So the Department of Energy was doing that with a photobioreactor technology called ClearS that I was involved in. And ClearS kind of went under, and they were looking for someone else. So.
Yeah. Okay. So can we stick to the
approval?
The approval for the quote? Yeah, thank you.
So any questions?
Do you have any questions from the board for the approval? Aaron, did you have a question?
One thing would like us to get in the habit of, and I kind of thought we were kind of going to be on that pathway, is to make sure we can keep a record of maintenance like this on equipment and so on, and including photographs and everything, so we can get it all in Silversmith and have a history. Do we have pictures and so on of this,
Yeah.
of this process? And if you can forward to Terry or Riley, and we can get that stuff. Well, I don't know if we've really talked more about the Silversmith program, whether we want to do that tile system, but we should look at that. I got to call Mark, is it? Marcus, I gotta talk to Marcus about the tile system, see what the cost would be associated with that, but I think the sooner the better, if that's something we're gonna be looking at, especially between the treatment plant, the new well.
It's a good idea.
We have a lot of different mechanical systems that we're gonna want really good history on the maintenance on. So if you can make sure any pictures of these sorts of repairs and things, so we can, 10 years down the road, why is that that way? Oh, look, it's a picture. It tells us exactly why that's that way.
I can have them give you a quote for the tile. We pay $507 million a year right now, so.
Yeah, pretty reasonable for what we're getting. Okay, so getting back to do we have any questions on the approval? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Engineer B, approve the quote from the lower 48 instruments in the amount of $29.64.
So this is, as you go into the lagoon system, do you need to make a motion?
Yeah, let's go ahead. I guess I'll make a motion to approve again for at least discussion.
I'll second.
30 seconds again. Okay, yeah, thank you.
Okay. So, as you visit the lagoons and you come in the gate, you'll see there's a meter sitting there with a solar panel on it. And that meter, monitors the flow coming from the town into the lagoons, which we've never been able to do before. So we never knew exactly how much evaporation was happening in seepage. But that meter it's portable. It can move. And we need to be able to monitor, because we didn't ever install the sensor yet into that channel. We need to be able to monitor the flows out of Ferguson sub pump station for the FEMA grant. And so my intentions was always, that's why I didn't have the contractor install that sensor. He's got all the conduit and everything ready to go, but I wanted it to be able to be portable to Ferguson sub, where we could monitor for 12 months the infiltration and inflow part of the FEMA grant using that piece of equipment. So the only thing that we need is a reusable strap. The strap is basically, it goes inside of the pipe and it holds the sensor, and the sensor is what reads the flow. The one that came with just comes with the package is a plastic one. Actually, Vanish still has it, so we need to get that back from Vanish. But I want to get a stainless steel one. I've used them before. I used the one in Box Elder. And that stainless steel one, you just hook a cordless drill to it, screw it, and it tightens up inside the pipe, and then reverse it, shrinks, and you can pull it out. And that way we could reuse that and just keep the plastic one for some other application. So that's this $129.
Okay, any questions from the board on this one? Okay, seeing none, do I have one?
Yeah, it's only $929, but if it is connected to the FEMA grant, can this be, if it's gonna be used as a component of that, can this be tied to it? Or things like this in the future?
We have some budget that's the town budget out of that total. So I don't see why we couldn't, at least we could ask.
So that if it's going to benefit the FEMA grant and we need to buy it, we should attach it to that rather than anything
Makes
else.
sense, yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. Make sure we're doing that. Okay, do we have any other questions? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. For this one, I think from some discussion that we had as a board, I guess I'd like to make a motion to table pending situational investigation for 8C.
I'll second that.
Seconds. Do we need to have a discussion on that one? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, very good. Motion carries. So 9A, update the development notification procedure. I didn't see a procedure in here. Do we have a procedure that we could update? Do you-
Yeah, Neil's on.
Oh, okay.
Here, come on.
Well,
So this is
yeah.
Trina had a.
Go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I talked to Neil about it. Uh, because of all of the confusion with the neighborhood that's, upset about the TIF.
Uh-huh.
I asked Neil, what is the standard practice and can we have in our notifications of public meetings, an email that people can email their questions and concerns before the public meeting? And, I guess Neil has some more he wants to say about that.
Okay, thank you.
Neil, you got some more to add to that 9A?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea to do that. Primarily, probably should be the one that would be the email from the city finance office, because that's where it's for it. Probably rather than the consultant, because sometimes it might be where we have to have a different separation there. But you could drop me the questions and so forth. But I think it's a great idea to have contact information on the notices. Also, if there's materials that will be on the website, that you wouldn't want to put it, that you can't put in the notices, then we would have the website is also part of the notice. So like TIF district, for example, is on the website, and so you can put that reference that's on there on the notice. So I think that these are good ideas.
Okay. Very good. Is that, do we need to make a board motion to do that? Is that something that the finance office would like to implement without a board action?
I think it's an administrative thing we can just direct us to do.
Okay. Well, I guess, so, do we have this procedure in written form?
No, but we could just make it part of the list if you feel like you want to make a motion to that effect, but we'll make it part of the access.
Yeah, so, I guess what I'd like to do then is I'll make a motion to update or to create this procedure and to provide it to the office in written form so that they can be aware of what the procedure is and how they need to proceed when we have these types of things.
Yeah, I didn't know if we were gonna be adding to a procedure since I haven't been a part of that yet, but I can type up what Neil and I just said off of the minutes here.
Okay, so there is a motion on the floor. Do we have a second on that one? Okay, 20 seconds. Okay, so you were saying that you'll be able to type it up and send it in?
Yes.
Okay. Um, do we have any further discussion on this one? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. So amendments to the zoning code that is in there on 9B. So Neil, would you like to introduce that for us?
Sure, this evolved from the discussion that we had a couple meetings ago, in regard to the storage units, so, where they could be placed within the town and so forth. The way I wrote it was and long way short is, that they would be allowed in the residential, commercial, and the industrial sections. The caveat is that they have to meet the setbacks and so forth, and lot coverages and things that years, and also have to comply with the building and fire code. The area that you may want to consider, and then I also proposed that they have to be in the backyard, of the property. But I guess the key question is probably primarily on the residential part of it. How do you feel about those? I think what happens is that because of the size of these things, and houses, your residential property, which are taking a little less property, they're gonna probably run into a lot coverage, so then hence you need a variance. So, in some way, it might take care of itself in some of the residential properties, but if they have a residential property that has a lot of land, they may have an easier time putting in a 20 by 40 storage unit and so forth. So I wrote this as just as a kid law rolling. To amend the zoning code requires a 10-day notice prior to the first reading. So the purpose of tonight is just to kind of give you a proposal, to get your reaction to it. And so then once you give me your reaction, then I will prepare a notice of hearing and then for your first reading so that it reflects the feelings of the board.
Okay. So I don't know that we necessarily need a work session on this. If we could send our comments to Neil directly, and then he could incorporate those into the first reading draft. That'd be okay? Is that okay with the board here? Eric?
Yeah, I think part of what he was alluding to is maybe, do we want residential? Or how do we want it? I mean, if it's residential, do we necessarily want to open up a pathway to have full-size shipping containers? At the same time, there are those pod units and other things, so maybe we need to talk a little bit about, or maybe there's a size we would consider okay, or maybe a temporary nature we would consider okay on residential, where if you get into industrial, I mean, it's industrial or heavy commercial. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm good with everybody just sending comments to Neil and then he can kind of compile it and.
Okay.
I'm just concerned about this open meetings thing. We're all sending information to the same person.
Individually.
Yeah, well, I know, but.
We can get her all. Don't reply all.
Don't hit reply all.
Got me very relaxed over there. So I figured we were good.
We were good.
Neil, don't reply all to the board members.
Okay.
So,
No, I'm fine with that. Just want to send me your comments and I will compile the comments and then take another run at the drafting the ordinance for a future meeting.
Okay.
okay. Dan, did you have a quick comment on that?
Yeah, and I do, as far as they go, in situations I can see maybe if it's an 8 by 40 and having it set in your front yard, but there's a lot of them are 8 by 10, 8 by 20. And if a person wants to put it on the side of their property and can meet setbacks, then I wouldn't think that you'd want to restrict it to backyard only. And as far as commercial, I think that's completely ridiculous because commercial property should be able to place wherever they want to place. Industrial likewise, whatever's going to be a convenience for that property. Commercial has a lot lax or setbacks in the circumstances of where they're at as well as industrial. So I don't think it should be a backyard compliance on industrial or commercial. And case by case on residential. If the person can meet the setbacks and wants to put it on the side of their property like they would a garage, I don't think you should restrict them from having that option on their property if they can meet compliances.
Okay. Well, if you would like to send your concerns to a board member, we can forward those on to Neil. I don't know if we recommend people to contact Neil directly. Do we do that?
No.
Oh, that's what I thought. So if you could send your concerns to a board member, and then we could send those to Neil and see if we can get something that makes sense. Yes, sir.
And just to say that applies to all citizens and hello, everybody. Anybody who wants interest in this, just send it, contact the board member and we'll compile it and we'll pipe it up to Neil and then he can put together something that works for everybody's concerns.
Or the town office.
Or the town office and then, yeah.
That's how it's historically been done. Nobody's really never
Contact board member, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Terry or a board member and we'll
Yep.
run it up the chain.
Okay, very good. Well, thanks for working on that for us, Neil. So we got to approve a new address for parcel 0099325. I guess I'll make the motion to approve on that one.
I'll second.
Seconds. So Neil, would you like to introduce that one to us, please?
What the address changes?
Yeah.
I don't think you had anything to do with it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, basically, so what they're gonna do, building permit coming for phase 6. So they could advertise that, could change the address for the adjacent property as well, so.
Okay, awesome.
Yep, good idea.
All right, so I guess, do we have any more discussion on that one? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion. Okay, we got 4 ayes and 1 abstention then. I guess I'll just go ahead and make a motion to approve new address for the adjacent parcel for the same
I'll
reason.
second that.
The seconds, do we need any further discussion on this one? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 4 ayes, 1 abstention, both motions carry. Moving on to 9E, approved plat of lots 1 and 2 on Hermosa Hills Tract and dedicated public road being extension of Tenaya Street, accepting from the drain in tract town of Hermosa.
Well, this plat is part of the TIF district and it's gonna be expanding the street that we talked about, where, the TIF district is just more to identify some property boundaries within the area, and also you probably will take note of the easements that are illustrated on the TIF district or on the plat. So this was kind of the next step is getting for the development of the property. You've got a couple, 3 versions of the plat that highlight where the directions are and the points are as well. Again, this is on TIF.
Okay, thank you, Neil. Linda?
The question I have is, the right of way on the Tenaya Street is 80 foot. Because this is a commercial property and trucks coming in and out, does that need to be bigger? Should it be bigger? Is there a turnaround spot? Do we need a turnaround spot? And of course, we need to make sure that there is availability for fire trucks.
So 80, so county is 66 feet and a 24-foot right of way with 2 feet shoulders on each side. So you would have plenty in that 80 to do an 80-foot temporary turnaround at the end of Tenaya.
Okay.
That would, when they extend that. Right now, most of that doesn't exist.
Right.
But I think that this is getting platted in, is being proposed to get plat in this final plat because it'll get recorded then. So that way you don't need to do the separate recording of that easement.
Okay.
There is quite a lot of stuff going on.
Well, that's what I know there's a lot going on and
Easements,
you're right.
it's pretty busy because they had a lot of, I think, plans on how they were going to connect things and
they fell apart.
yeah, well, and maybe some of these things could be extinguished, as well, so.
So,
Okay.
lot
Yes, ma'am.
2, is that Deer Valley subdivision? Is that lot 2? What lot 1 is the 9 acres, and then lot 2 is to the west.
The remainder of the donut, essentially, right?
Yes.
The remainder.
Basically the ring around the drive-in, right?
Oh, we're up there.
Yeah.
So Tenaya Street's splitting this into 2 parcels and extending out to the end.
That's a lot more logical.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Just a quick reminder, we needed the plat to identify the property because the depot will need to be rezoned to an industrial, but they need the legal description to do that, to start that process. So that process will be commencing sometime soon as well. But I needed the legals to attach.
Okay, Eric?
Yeah, just quick note, I did, through Silversmith, get with Google Maps and submit a correction to Tenaya Street. So Google Maps, hopefully within a few weeks, will show Tenaya Street where it's actually supposed to be.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. I guess, do we have a motion to approve then, or what does the board want to do on this one?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to approve this.
Okay, Trina makes the motion.
Don't change.
I second that.
Donna seconds. Okay, do we have any further discussion on this one? Dan?
Yeah, no, when you're saying there is a temporary turnaround in there, I think that's the biggest problem that we've had. And Linda has brought up a good point that, you know, you get a semi coming down there and then they're in the wrong place and they have nowhere to turn around. And if this property is fenced and they have no dog leg for them to come into, well, in them circumstances will create that situation. So even if it's a temporary at the end of that, to make sure that they have enough radius to turn around, and 80 will easily provide that.
Yeah, and I think that we need to add signage as well,
Correct.
so that the people know
That was the second part of what I was gonna say.
Okay.
I mean, I know that we still get complaints, I'm sorry, I just spoke up. Thank you. At a couple different areas in town where there was supposed to be the cul-de-sac or whatever, the turnaround for the fire trucks, and it didn't get done, and we've had problems, issues with that. So that's just, I just want to make sure that that is handled at the end of that street. Temporary gravel, that's fine,
Right.
as long as it's there. Because then if they go on further west from that, you know, no big deal. I mean, it doesn't have to be curb and gutter, in other words, is what I'm saying. It can just be gravel.
Yeah, and so the next thing you would see is sewer plans and road plans. And that's when we would be able to identify that. But because this is a town road, yeah, there's kind of like this is the first step, right? Creating the easements.
Okay. Okay, do we have any further questions? Aaron?
Yeah, just want to note the public access easement that goes through the drive-in tracks. My understanding, it used to go up, loop around, form Marie Street, and then back around. But the rest of that easement has been, I guess, since forfeited. I don't know, what's the process of that, of cleaning up this map essentially from some of these things that are never going to be made use of now?
So if those easements are reserved for someone, then they can extinguish them, the property owner can. So Roy could extinguish those easements within that are a part of his access. Now that he can access on tonight, his frontage all, he doesn't have frontage on there, so he still needs some kind of access.
Maybe it would be better to like straighten out that public easement into a 90 or.
Right, that would be the way to go.
Yeah.
Do it.
Instead of that weird thing. Yeah.
So lot two, when lot two if it gets developed, then that's when we would recommend in the P and Z that they start cleaning up a lot of that.
Okay, any further questions from the board? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor?
Right.
Okay, motion carries. On to Public Works, streets. Streets, do we have any, streets committee updates?
Nothing lately. We have no snow. We have no, like, it's just not gonna be a thing this year, so I'm okay with that.
Oh, no, don't say that.
Thursday.
We'll take it a little bit. We do need moisture.
Yeah.
We do.
In 2000, in the year 2000, and April, I think it was 23rd, we had 34 or 33 inches. I'm just saying, hey, you know.
On the street though, too?
Yeah. Bad.
Just in the grass.
Just where I was walking, for God's sakes.
We are on the streets section of the meeting, so.
Yeah.
You can kind of go through.
Mark is out of town, so his compactor's kind of out of reach. But I want to be focusing a lot more back in the street style and then on some of my other aspirations. Let me make sure that that's primary objective.
Yeah, I will note too that my son and I did pick up the extra riprap that was there just in case. And we did find some pieces that were pointy and sticking up, so that's something we need to be mindful of going forwards as well. And
Thank-
also,
Thank you, your
too-
son.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And also, we kind of looked at the whole ramp going, up into Corner Pantry, and then it basically forms West Main off of 40 as well. And, there's a lot of scabbing and stuff there too, I think is what it's called, where essentially what was probably at one point a patch has come up, and it's basically bare concrete underneath. And so we need to find a way to kind of fill that in such a way that,
Being that spot in
The UPM can, even over concrete, that we've still got half a pallet plus.
yeah,
And we've gotten those kind of funky bags that are kind of busted up.
right.
So we got some volume to fill in.
Well, so once we get some warm weather, I can volunteer to help you out. And we can fill that in. Probably will need to be a certain section at a time, right? So we can allow it to set up and then the traffic can drive around it. Is that how it works?
You really just need to get a good compaction. It doesn't take very long for it to set up. But another part of the problem is my truck's down for the count. I'm waiting on some parts. So
Okay.
starter bolts broke and
Oh,
yeah, waiting on, yeah. It'll be sorted another week or so.
all righty, very good. So was that it for streets?
Yeah, for now.
Awesome. Okay, street light repairs, we'll skip that one for tonight. Water and sewer department updates. Anthony, did you have any updates from the treatment plant? We talked about the new piping we needed to get the back flushing going, but do you have any updates beside that?
Yeah, John wanted, and I have pictures, John wanted to cut that and install a valve or two so that we could be running, continue running. So, he took the chance that you guys would approve, the whole thing to get that going. And, so we're operational. I was there before the meeting, just checking on the work, taking pictures. We're discharging, into the Battle Creek, so, running down, our detention basin and building up the level in our secondary cell so we can start treating from the secondary cell. So, so everything's running there. We have plenty of capacity, 4 million gallons of capacity in the detention basin we're not using.
Okay, very good. Let's see. Well, I guess we'll go on to open work orders then. So looks like we got the water meters put on there. That's good there. This one here. I think we could probably cross off the evidence of a sewer leak as being an action item. That I believe that stemmed from the situation. I went out and investigated, took pictures and put them up on, thank you, Silversmith. And I think it was due to heavy rains at the time, and it was down to the north of town along the line that went. They were actually talking about it at the meeting last night, but I don't believe that it was a ongoing one because, after that happened, I talked to Chuck and the homeowner, just let Chuck know about it and let the homeowner know if it happens again, let us know. And he never did. So I think it was a one-off. So I
So do we
think,
want to mark that as completed then?
yeah, I think we
So
should.
we didn't do that because you had put it in the system, so I didn't know.
Yeah.
You can mark that one completed.
Okay, yeah, let's mark that one completed. I
The
think that's
evidence
fine.
of sewage leakage. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the bottom two. I think it was, two of them was a mistake I made. Trying to get pictures in there or something. So Connie, did you have a question?
I wanted to ask Anthony when he said that they're discharging in Battle Creek. So within the last week, that lagoon has been riled up and it is leaking. Is that from discharging or what's causing the smell? It's getting really bad. Has not heard until.
So,
I noticed it's bad.
so odor comes from the primary cell, which is the first cell as everything flows in from town. And so then it has to travel through two more cells, which, the several acres of, surface area, and then it gets to the third cell, which is the secondary cell, and then it goes to the detention basin, and then from there, gets through the pump station to the treatment plant, runs through our clarifiers and ultrafiltration, and then is discharged to the Battle Creek down where it used to be a V trough, it now goes under a pipe. So it does, so there's no connection between, the primary cell where like that odor would emanate.
Daily thing, it's gonna be a daily thing, or then.
So temperature, yeah, so lagoon, I mean, there is solutions to the odor issues, but, lagoons, they flip twice a year because of temperature differences. So when the ice melts and the temperature, it layers in that cell, then it'll cause the water to flip over, and then that's what releases the odor. So you get the biggest odor issues in the spring and in the fall. So since we didn't have much of a winter, we've had that facultative lagoon flip in the primary cell.
So then it's daily being discharged, or are we just doing
Well, it's
times a week, or?
so the odors from the lagoons that they don't discharge directly goes through treatment first.
How much does it drop in a day? That is, so Lagoon A, and the discharging is happening. How much does A drop in that day when we're discharging? A foot, 6 inches?
So A pretty much stays constant because we've got an out and a discharge pipe from A going to B and C, right?
Okay,
And so, and actually right now it's just going to B, it's not going to C.
okay.
And so it just is staying constant.
So it's not the drop, not a drop that would be causing the odors then.
No.
So it's just the flip over thing.
Yep.
And so, and you're right, every spring, every fall, I swear we do smell it. We used to buy some stuff we could just throw in the pond that would make it less odor. Do we have that? Can we do that?
So maybe enzymes or something that we're being thrown in there.
Remember.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'd have to look at that and see if there's an odor control for the primary cell that we could look at. Obviously, we're having good treatment right now and meeting our discharge permit, so I gotta be cognizant of making changes that then jeopardize that, and then I gotta adjust. So yeah, we could look at if odor. I was just out there. I mean, it may be just hit and miss the odor.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, the wind has a lot to do with it.
I mean, one thing too, I think maybe Connie's concern is, so can you describe quickly in like a minute or two, how when where we pull from before to into the plant before we discharge?
Yeah. So the plant. Yeah, I don't know if you have a aerial, but the plant only can be fed from the cleanest water in the lagoon system. There's no direct connection from the town to the treatment plant. It has to go through all the cells before it can get to the plant. So by that point, all the solids have settled out. The air, the first cell's got pond doctors in it, it's got aerators in it, that's adding air. But then also just wind blowing over the lagoons causes the treatment to happen. And so when it gets to the treatment plant, it's just water with ammonia and phosphorus in it. And so that's what we're treating.
Yeah, so I think maybe your concern with discharging, creating a smell might have been it was churning things up or something like that.
Yeah, I was wondering if discharging was causing the odor.
Right, and so we're pulling from the cleanest water, and then the water coming out is very clean as well. It has very little, if any, smell, so.
Yeah.
It's really the
Video.
smell coming from, like you said, the primary lagoon.
Okay.
So that's the primary cell.
Oh, there you go.
And so everything comes down the driveway into the primary cell. From there, it connects into these two, which are also primaries, but they take a lot of the solids out. And then these two feed into this one, which is the secondary. You can see the color difference. And then we can feed the treatment plant up here from either this one or the big detention basin. So there's a pump station right there that is only fed by these two. So all that really potent stuff has to travel through that process before it gets to the treatment.
So, excuse me, Connie, were you smelling that at your house? And you smelled it at your house?
I smelled, I think it was Sunday, I smelled.
Sunday?
it.
Okay, all right.
I just thought because it's so warm, it probably already flipped.
Right.
That's what I thought it was smelling.
And that would be my question, with the weather the way it is, we are warmer, so it probably has flipped earlier. But now we're gonna get cold again. Are we gonna have to go through this process again? Maybe, maybe not.
Maybe, but a lot of times what happens is that odor is trapped in the sludge that's in that layer. So
Mhm.
once it flips, it releases it, and then it takes time to build up again.
Oh,
Okay.
So.
okay, thank you, Anthony.
Okay, very good. And thanks for asking the question, Connie.
Yep.
I think everybody kind of has a better idea of how all that works. So, let's move on to, do you think 10E is still valid? Do we need to do that one?
Well, he said, he didn't, but as a,
All right, well, let's go ahead and, let's do a motion to remove for 10E.
Okay, I'll second that.
Seconds, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, 10F, approved draft and posting of job description, Public Works Town employee.
This is still something that I think goes to the work session.
Yeah, well, the work session is for water rates.
Mhm.
I think it's fair to say that it's a little more pressing to look at this than water rates, but that's just my thought.
We can add it to the work session. I don't think that would,
Do you have a problem?
yeah, I don't think that'd be.
Let's put this on first on the work session and then water rate second.
Well, you and I made a lot of progress on water rates.
Yeah, we
Now
did.
that we've got that set up, we should be able to just play around with numbers for.
Yep,
All right, so let's motion to table this to the work session.
thank you.
I'll second that.
Okay, 3 seconds. Any further discussion on that one?
and that is Monday night.
Yep, next Monday night.
I think so.
5, right?
23rd at 5. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. 10G, approved booster pump replacement budget. So, you know, well, it's, I believe in the email I said it was basically a carbon copy of the one that we already got. All right. And so with Cromer, they gave us a quote to, I believe it was $2,400 to replace a booster pump in a house. And in further discussion with them, they will honor that price for each single booster pump in the residences that we need to change out. And right now, per the inspections that we had done previously, we have 2 that are leaking. So this is to approve a budget of.
2417 was their
Okay,
quote.
right. So if we, so that would be 5836, 4836, 4834. Yeah. So that would be a budget of 4834 to do the next 2. And for previous inspections, I believe those are the only ones that we have left. we may want to go and do another round of inspections soon to ensure that we don't have any others that are leaking at this time. Because those things tended to leak.
I'll make that motion. Or did you already?
If you want to make the motion to approve
Mhm.
for, what did we say, 40?
4834.
Okay, Linda makes a motion to approve. 4834.
I second that.
Donna seconds. Do we have any further discussion on that one? Dan?
Was there ever a proposal from Anthony to fix that booster on the hill up there? Because you figure you got 10 of these things.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's something we're gonna have to look at going forward. We'll address that as we can when we get to do the drinking water, situation up there. But, right now, these are this work is to just, replace the ones that are leaking, that are actively leaking right now. And so,
They need to be removed or fixed one way or another.
it's per the homeowner's, request. We had one that they requested to remove it and not replace it, so that's what we did. And so, going forward, we'll determine if the next two want to do that, and if so, then we can, just use only part of the budget for this one. So anyways, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Abstain from those.
Okay, 4 ayes, abstention. Okay, 10G, that was something that came in later. And, yeah, sorry, 10H, approve the water leak repair bill for Fifth and Manning. And I think Riley's gonna pass some of those out for everybody.
So Scott, this is one of those open meeting law things. This bill did not come in until today. It is for work that had to get done, needed to get done and got done. And, so would we be violating to add it to claims and pay for it now rather than waiting 2 weeks?
You voted to add it to the agenda at the beginning of the meeting. You're allowed to change the agenda at the beginning of those items, so just recommended that you use that
Discretion.
ability minimally if you can. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thanks for asking, Linda.
Mhm.
Guess, would anyone like to make the motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Linda makes the motion. Do we have
I'll
a
second
second? Donna seconds. Okay, so, I mean, this is basically the latest repair we had at Fifth and Manning from a leaking water main. And that was, 15,387 to take care of it. So, have any further discussion on that one? Dan?
So there was no warranty on any of that thing.
No, what happened with that was, so there's my understanding is there's two different sections of hardware down there. And the last one that we had was the first section of hardware. I think Linda was the one that inspected it since I was out of town at the time. And then the one that was leaking most recently was another section of hardware under the street there. So, unfortunately, we didn't have the opportunity to warranty it.
It was sad but true. The first problem was at the northernmost point of the pipe that was the spot that was opened up. And the worst of, what was now leaking is more to the south. And so, yeah, and on the corner where it goes. And, I know Cal and I have talked about this a little bit, and we'll have to go forward it with the board, but in that particular case, and as I recall, we did kind of look at replacing everything that was opened up down there, and the expense was quite great. However, looking back a year, it's not as great as what this expense is. So the next time that we open something up that is in an area where the original work was done 20 or 25 years ago, I think we need to really consider replacing everything that was, everything that has been opened up and is visual. So,
Did you have a quick a quick?
Please, I guess in my feeling when you're looking at this kind of number, definitely need bids on it from other contractors, and surely we've gotten a better number, and our engineers should be involved on these too, where you can see what's going on and verify it, so.
Right, well, in this case, I think, I don't know if we had the luxury of time on that, but I think going forward, we should definitely bid out things as we can, and as we're able, so. Anyway, do we have any further discussion from the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, on to the back page. Custer County log. You get one of those?
We did.
I did.
yeah, I'm just going through it.
I thought it was back, way back, maybe.
54 total in the month of January. I have somewhere in the neck of the woods, I kind of, sorry, I lost track, but 22 paper services, something like that. Couple of ambulance calls. Yeah, this one's funny. Out of the country or out of the county. Couple of animal and about 10 paper services. You can keep the peace, yeah. I keep the peace. Yep. So.
Good. All righty, well, thank you to Custer County for providing that service for us. On to claims. I believe we need to amend the current claims to add the repairs of the water main.
So with that additional, the total of the claims is 41,856.65.
I'll make the motion to approve claims with the addition.
Second.
Trina seconds. Do we have any further discussion on that one? Hey, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. On to economic development.
Can I ask a question? On bills, I guess it could be finance officer too, but did you check into or have you figured out how much the Christmas lights added to our bill?
No, but I have the Black Hills electric light bill. I think it would have been, I should be able to.
Okay, figure that out.
Yeah.
And let me know next
They
meeting.
went up in, it was the end of December, so I think
Yeah.
January result should reflect it.
Okay.
I just had it the other day.
Get that information next meeting, please.
Okay. On to economic development. There's nothing listed there, but Aaron, did you have anything to add?
Just really, the forum that was held yesterday, Hermosa Connect sponsored it, prepared it all, scheduled it. They, yeah, no, they did good. They're gonna probably try to do more and more of that kind of stuff, just general opportunities for the public to gather and talk openly about whatever it is that may be going on at any given time and, float ideas and network. Other than that, what else is going on? Economic development. That's what I like.
Oh, come on. You got a spoiler for us? Is that what you said?
Nothing real big. Yeah, in time.
Thank you.
All righty, we'll be waiting. All right. Well, let's move on to finance office.
So the January financial report is included in your packet.
Looks great, Terry.
And we got our little hiccup in our program worked out, so.
Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, very good. Do we have any department
I
updates?
don't have any department updates.
Okay, well, let's go on to approve the SDPAA intergovernmental agreement update. So we have the,
This is from our property and liability insurance.
we have an updated contract they'd like us to sign. So I think generally speaking, this is something that we would do occasionally as it's updated. So we can maintain our insurance coverage, is that right? Okay, Aaron, did you have a comment or question?
Yeah, I was thinking to make a motion. But I'm thinking to have it contingent on a attorney review just so that Scott can have some time. So I'll make a motion to approve the SCPAA intergovernmental agreement update contingent on approval by the town attorney.
Okay, do we have a second on that one?
Sure.
Second for the two. Okay, let me get that all. Okay, do we have any discussion on that one? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor? Aye, motion carries. On to 14D, approve additional duties for the administrative assistant in regards to office cleaning.
So in response to Vonda's resignation, Riley has agreed to do our office cleaning and good for now, gonna do it during the week when she's here. So what I was thinking is then we would just take like 2 hours, so 10% of her or 5% of her hour or pay would come out of that building, the janitorial fund.
Okay,
So it would actually save us some money in the long run for the time being, let, things get to where she's busy. I didn't tell her she had the option to do it outside of the normal work hours, but for right now, she feels like she has the time to do it
yeah,
during the normal work week.
okay.
And let us know when you feel like you don't have time.
Yeah.
That would be the only.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Have a little second.
Who got it?
Then we had the last one. Do we need any further discussion on that one? Seems pretty self-explanatory. Nope. Okay, all those in favor? Aye, motion carries. Okay, on to 15A, the BBB fund donation for the playground equipment. I think that, what was that?
Linda?
Well, they were gonna contact you
And I still haven't heard from you.
and you still haven't heard from them. Riley?
They took your card, so I assume they would point them.
Yeah,
And they haven't called.
not yet.
So they haven't even looked at the equipment yet that we know
Can we just table this?
of. Okay, what do you know?
I'm sorry, again, I conflict of interest because I serve on the church board. So I can't advise the board about this topic, but at the church meeting I went to on Sunday, they represented that they had looked at the equipment.
Oh,
I don't know how, but they told me that they did look at it.
Somewhere where they can see.
I told them generally where it was, that if
Yeah,
they
so
go down
They
there.
showed up.
I think that somebody did take a look at it. But
Okay.
and we're interested or not?
I think that they were assessing.
Assessing.
Trying to see whether it was, I think they said there were a lot of cleanup to do on it and that kind of thing. They were gonna just kind of evaluate that a little bit. I think that I think the church has a property committee and they're gonna have the property committee meet and discuss those options.
So just let's leave this pending.
Well, so technically this one is for donation from the fund.
Right.
And it kind of morphed into donation of the property itself because we cannot, and we may have to do some surplusing or something of that in order to release it for somebody to purchase to donate to the church because per the Constitution of the state, I don't believe we can donate to a religious organization as a municipal body. So I'll just go ahead. This one in particular, I'll go ahead and we'll motion to remove.
That's good. I'll second that.
And then depending on the situation with the equipment, we'll have to get that inventoried and ready for surplus, and we can see what we can do going forward. So, uh, so we have a motion to remove, seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Okay, on to new business. 16A, review volunteer of the year 2025 nominations. Very good. Linda, would you like to present these?
Okay. Breezy and Ryan Simpson were nominated for their winter nights, Hermosa Bits and Spurs Horse Club, and summer nights. Breezy and Ryan are involved with anything that ties to bring the township together. They brought the annual Hermosa Christmas Parade last year and held the 2-year this year, the second year of this year. Breezy puts her heart and soul into anything. She does this for the town. They do the Hermosa Bits and Spurs Horse Club, and they do this during the summer months. They have been doing this for about 4 years and have about 80 riders that participate of all ages. Their son raises money for the Hermosa Ball Club, and they organize summer nights in Hermosa. They had train rides, jumping castles, cornhole boards, and live music and food vendors. They are always trying to come up with ideas to involve the community. In August of 24, she found out Rapid had some surplus Christmas decorations that were used on their streetlights. She made many calls and made sure Hermosa could receive them. With all of her efforts for the town received them this last fall. They will have lots of stuff going on this summer with summer nights. She also has plans for a Special Olympics fundraiser this summer. And with all of their hard work and continuing efforts, they are truly making a difference in our community.
And don't forget too, there was another one on the back.
Yep. Oh, not on that one.
That's right, yep.
Sorry about that. Okay. Nomination is for Dan and Shelley Martin. The organizations are Hermosa Connect, Hermosa Arts and Growth and Development, Hermosa Arts and Histories Association Museum. Dan and Shelley were the original founders of Pop's Grocery, a business that served as a vital hub within Hermosa. Even after its sale, they've continued to care for its success, reflects their enduring investment in the town's vitality and sustainability. I am going to follow with the stories and activities that I personally know about, with the understanding that I know there are more than Dan and Shelley do that I am probably unaware of. Dan and Shelley have demonstrated extraordinary volunteer leadership and heartfelt service in Hermosa throughout 25. Although they reside just outside municipal boundaries, their work has taken place within the town of Hermosa and has directly benefited its residents, families, and businesses in visible and lasting ways. Dan Martin serves as president of Hermosa Connects, Hermosa Area Growth and Development, and the Hermosa Arts and History Association Museum Board. These responsibilities extend far beyond titles. They require vision, persistence, coordination, and countless hours of quiet effort. In 2025, Dan and Shelley devoted significant personal time to assessing renovation needs at the Hermosa Museum and contributing hands-on labor to preserve a structure that protects our shared history and strengthens our municipal identity. Shelley played a central role in organizing the 2025 Hermosa Huckster event, coordinating vendors and expanding meaningful opportunities for small businesses within our town. Together, they served as organizers of the 2025 Christmas Carnival at the school, jointly managing vendors, overseeing logistics, and helping procure donated toys that brought genuine joy to Hermosa children and families. Shelley has utilized her nonprofit to benefit a resident in financial hardship, and I cannot recall the name of the Hermosa organization at this time, but I was there for the discussion of the planned use of their funds and its impacts for this person. Dan Martin initiated a collaboration with the United Way and reached out those in Hermosa to seek community needs met and got ready to roll up his sleeves with those he brought together. Their service is steady, generous, and rarely self-promoted. Communities like Hermosa depend upon individuals who are willing to step forward, shoulder responsibility, and give their time for the benefit of others. Recognizing Dan and Shelley's contributions affirms the value of volunteerism and honors the spirit of service that keeps our town strong throughout the year and continue to this day.
Would you like me to read the last one, Linda?
Well, if you would like to. Did I get a little bad on that? Sorry, kids. Please, I apologize.
Slowing down a little bit.
Yeah, sorry. I needed to take a drink.
Yes, ma'am. And this one, the nominee is Kathy Pillen. Kathy has been a resident of Hermosa for the past 15 years, during which she has consistently demonstrated an exceptional level of civic engagement. It would be my honor to nominate Kathy for Volunteer of the Year in recognition of her longstanding dedication, service, and commitment to the town of Hermosa and its citizens. For the past 10 years, she has been a dedicated volunteer with Feeding South Dakota, contributing her time and energy to help support families in need. She also volunteers with her church at the Bishop Food Store, further demonstrating her compassion and her belief in strengthening the community through service. Throughout all of her efforts, Kathy has shown a deep and unwavering commitment to the people of Hermosa. She consistently seeks ways to support her neighbors, uplift the community, and will contribute to a future where residents and businesses can thrive. For her heartfelt dedication to the betterment of Hermosa, Kathy Pillen is highly deserving of recognition as Citizen Volunteer of the Year, and I believe that it was nominated, or she was nominated by Connie Lemer. Okay, very good. I think the voting is at the next meeting, is that right?
That's however you want to do it.
You guys want to take some time to think about it and pick them up at the next meeting? Sounds good.
The special meeting or in March?
The next regular meeting.
Oh,
Okay, we'll go ahead and, so we performed the review. So we finished that agenda item. So if we can, let's put an agenda item on selecting the Volunteer of the Year Award for 2025. Good. Okay, moving on to items from constituents. So do you have any items out there that people would like to bring forward, bring up to the board? Connie?
It was a really good meeting. I enjoyed the open meeting violation presentation and just a lot of information tonight. A good meeting.
All right, thank you. Anybody else?
Krista Watson.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so I just wondered what you're thinking is about our respectively asking for refund of family funds, or what didn't happen that was initiated in 2022 or 2021.
So I don't want to go too far in this discussion because it belongs on the agenda, probably at the next meeting. And I really did try very hard to get this done in time for the agenda, but I just couldn't because I didn't get the information in time.
Oh, shit.
So I did write a letter to the board. I only got it done in the afternoon. I think the letter's available. You can read it. If you don't have a copy already, I'll give you my copy before we leave. But in the event, there's a couple of things that I don't have answers to still, and those answers are mainly about how funds were expended between the 2021 contract and the 2024 contract. What if monies were expended or not? I don't know the answer to that question. And then my other question is, I don't know why the amount changed from the 2021 contract from 150, which is, again, my understanding is, after reviewing everything, that you essentially had a $150,000 contribution and another $150,000 line of credit. And those two things went together to pay for sewer and water. And one of those amounts changed in the second contract to 140,000 and something. I don't know why that's 10,000 different. So that's the other question I don't know the answer to. So I'm hopeful I can get the answers to those two questions before the next regular meeting. But I think we can certainly discuss and be ready to have a position at least the next meeting. But again, I just want to let you know, I worked as hard as I could to get it ready, but it's a topic I didn't know much about when I started, and I had to learn something. And I reached out to several different sources, and I watched some old meetings too, to see, what had happened. So.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I have the answer to one of those questions, but I can wait and get a copy of your letter and then.
Sure, and I can just see it now, but I don't need it.
Okay.
Yeah, if you just want to hang out for a second, the meeting, we can.
Okay,
We can-
share that.
Okay, yeah, thanks for that, Scott. And again, Krista, apologize that we didn't get it on the agenda for tonight, but we'll get it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Appreciate that. Thanks.
Okay, thank
Well,
you.
that's fine.
All right, thank you. Do we have any further items? Nope. So any trustee input? Any trustees like to volunteer some input? Linda?
It was a good meeting. I would like to say that if we, need another meeting or need to add agenda items to the work session, I think that, we should do that. If there's anything that comes up that we need to make decisions on, I think, that, just want to say that that's a go, on my opinion. But yes, good meeting. Thank you to all the citizens that showed up. We appreciate it. Mark, I've never known you to be so quiet at a meeting ever, ever. And I hope that it's not because you have laryngitis or you've lost your vocal cords.
Somebody paid me.
Oh, somebody-
His shirt says it all.
Must have been a lot.
Oh, boy, I'm telling you.
Okay, any other trustee input? No? Okay, well, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'd make that motion at 8:45.
8:45, Donna second.
Wow. Woo, that is big news.
Okay, not done yet, folks. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
That was.